First week of 2025. How's your year so far? Mine's okay, I guess. It doesn't feel that different. 2024 felt different. This year doesn't feel any different than most of last year. Hey, Plasma, good to see you. Um, the thumbnails are courtesy of ChatGPT, so I could take very little of the credit. I just described the theme I'm doing for the day, and it comes up with the images. But thank you. Um, so today we're going to continue with talking about myths and stories and how we use them as a society. um, I think I'll wait a little bit to see if more viewers show up. Ninja Kitty Bonks. Good to see you. Y'all, guess what I saw today? I was out running some errands. I saw a car with antlers on it. It had like, I was going to snap a picture, but it was from the back and I didn't want to capture the license plate. Um, it had like an antler coming out of the passenger window and then one coming out of the driver's window, so that it looked like two antlers coming off the top of the car. I almost want a car now just to put antlers on. So, what was I saying? Oh, myths, stories, mythology. So we've been talking about the two basic types of myths that show up in society. What Northrop Frye calls the myth of concern, which you can think of as a myth of societal concern. It's the mythology that arises out of the need to keep a group together and the stories and the language that emerges from that function. And then the myth of freedom, or what you can think of as the myth of intellectual freedom, which arises out of a need and desire to understand reality, describe that reality, and a kind of different set of mental habits, social values, and language emerges from that function. So that gives us two different types of mythologies. Today we're going to see what happens when... Now remember, the myth of freedom, or the myth of intellectual freedom, is rooted more in the individual observation, individual expression, etc. But it emerges from an existing myth of concern, an existing set of stories and mythologies that a society or community is based on. So it has its origin in society and in community. So today we're going to see what happens when the two meet and sometimes clash. And I've said before that the reason we're focused on these two particular types of mythologies is because the interplay of these two can be seen throughout the history of intellectual Western and cultural development. So we're going to get a better sense of what that interplay is today. So I guess I'll begin, and once again I'm going to not look at the comments as I make my way through the essay. I'm giving this to you in bits and pieces. It's a pretty long essay. It's 70 something pages. So I'm just doing like a few paragraphs each day. So here we go. Just to recap, this is from Frye. The modern form of the conceptions of concern and freedom may be expressed somewhat as follows. Man lives in two worlds. There is the world that he is actually in, the world of nature, or his objective environment, and there is the world he wants to live in, the civilization he is trying to build or maintain out of his environment, a world rooted in the conception of art, as the environment is rooted in the conception of nature. For the objective world, he develops a logical language of fact, reason, and verification. Three words that show up on here quite often, because this channel is part of the purpose of this channel is to fulfill that function of the myth of freedom, of trying to understand reality and correspondent truth. So he says, for the objective world, man develops a logical language of fact, reason, and verification. And for the potentially created world, the world he wants to live in, he develops a mythical language of hope, desire, belief, fantasy, and construction. So once again, we have the two different types of languages that are arising from these two mythical paradigms, I guess you could say, different ways of approaching reality. One is social reality, one is natural reality, environmental, physical reality. Both languages are based on the arts, and the verbal arts are prominent in both. But the metaphorical language of poetry is essentially a mythical and not a logical language. It speaks the language of concern, of the beliefs and wishes that hold society together, not the language that describes the environment. Now, I've said before, and I've tried to emphasize this many times, that reason, logic, the scientific mindset, it developed historically in classical Greece, but it developed from it didn't develop out of nowhere. The activity that took its place, or that was in its place before it developed and displaced that, was the arts. It was poetry, it was drama, it was mythology, it was storytelling. So logic, and I went over that Bruno Snell quote the other day. He wrote the book The Discovery of Man, which traces the development of the Western intellect from myth to logic. And there's a direct connection between the mythology of Homer, and you could even say the mythology of Plato, because remember, Plato was as much poet and mythologist as he was rationalist and philosopher. So both of these are based ultimately on the arts. One is just a very specialized development out of the arts into something that today we're calling logic, reason, etc., using this secondary language. So he makes the point that both of the languages are based on the arts, but that the language of the myth of concern is a mythical type of language based on the arts and not a logical language, which is a very different type of language. Okay, he says, naturally, the study of man's environment cannot be confined to the non-human environment, the physical world, the natural world, which is kind of what we've been talking about and what the sciences, or at least the hard sciences, attempt to study and understand. Physics, chemistry, biology. But he says that the study of man's environment cannot be confined to that non-human environment. Human society, in the present as in the past, is an objective fact too. Human society is part of the natural world as well. Sooner or later, therefore, the scientific spirit and the search for truth of correspondence are going to invade the structures of concern themselves, studying human mythology in the same spirit that they study nature. This collision between concern and freedom may well be the most important type of what is now called culture shock that we have. In weak or frightened minds, such a collision produces immediate panic, followed by elaborate defensive reactions. Efforts to bring the spirit of inquiry into the Christian religion have been met with such responses as, if you destroy your faith with your rational, analytical questions, what will you put in its place? Marxist atheologians similarly insist that as everybody exists in a specific social context, there is no such thing as complete detachment from a societal attitude, and that consequently all inquiry is rooted in a social attitude which must be either revolutionary and so in agreement with them, are counter-revolutionary. And one often still hears the argument among student militants that because complete objectivity is impossible, differences in degree of objectivity are not important. Okay, let's think about where this shows up in our modern world and social media, in the discourse or multiple discourses that are out there. The progressive resistance of or attack on things like objectivity, logic, reason, as being white supremacist. Remember that chart we looked at a while back, which actually came from the Smithsonian Institution, of all the things that is whiteness or white supremacy and objectivity and reason, things like punctuality, work ethic, etc. So from the Marxist point of view, there is no objective detachment. There is no purely objective way of looking at the world. So objectivity, according to them, is part of a social mythology of its own, because part of the Marxist social mythology is that nobody is free from some kind of entrenched social attitude. And so therefore, the kind of objectivity that the myth of freedom lays claim to is not possible. So that's the resistance to the idea of critical inquiry or examination from the Marxist side. From the Christian side, it's the usual arguments of faith versus reason. And these have played all the way out through Christian history, from Augustine all the way to Aquinas and beyond. The point is that when you turn this specific way of looking at the world in the way, and it's a way that seeks correspondent truth and understanding of how things work and the way things are, when you turn that onto any kind of myth of concern, any kind of human society or even the individual, which in our day we get the soft sciences / pseudosciences of sociology and psychology, you get resistance. Now, I've seen it on the stream many times. It's even from very bright, highly intelligent people who would otherwise consider themselves rational themselves and part of this secondary type of myth, the myth of intellectual freedom. I can think of many conversations where I've tried to make what I took to be plainly factual statements, and I got a lot of resistance in defense of some kind of social mythology or psychological mythology. One that comes up quite often that I can think of is the idea that people have choice, or people make choices. If you leave the free will debate aside and just assume that we operate by choice, which I guess you could say is a form of mythology itself. But if that's the case, it's a form of mythology that informs both of these types, concern and freedom. Because however free will works, it wouldn't work differently from scientists than it would from everyone else. So the idea that people have agency, the idea that people are capable of making choices, and that much of their life circumstances can be traced to the results of choices that they themselves made. I get a lot of resistance and kind of a defense of this mythology of victimhood, this mythology that people are forced into certain choices by their life circumstances, they're forced to steal, they're forced to become criminals, etc., because I don't understand the influences that are operating on them that kind of channel them into these choices. But none of that is the choice itself, and there are plenty of other people in the same circumstances that make different choices. So to me, it is still a quite factual statement that people make choices, have the capability of making choices, and that the outcomes in their lives are the result of choices. So that's just one example of how a social mythology can, or how myth of freedom, let's say, an attempt at logical, rational inquiry, or an attempt to look at facts, can encounter resistance from a social myth of concern. I would almost go so far as to say that if you are trying to be rational and critical and look at something factual, which would be operating from this myth of intellectual freedom, and you encounter resistance or you encounter defense or pushback that seems irrational to you at the time or seems counter to fact, you've probably uncovered some kind of myth of concern at work there. So that would be one way I would say of locating what myths of concern people are operating by. Um, and what I'm talking about today is kind of where the two meet and the fault lines between them and the points of tension. And I think that shows up a lot in our society, definitely in social media and in our conversations on this channel. And so a lot of the times when these conversations are happening, it's because one person is trying to come from an approach oriented in the myth of freedom, and the other person is coming from an approach rooted in some kind of societal myth of concern. Okay, let's continue. So that he describes some reactions of Christianity and Marxism to attempts to turn a critical eye onto those myths of concern. We're going to look at it from the opposite side now, and Sean, if you're out there, this is for you because you've kept asking this question several times. He addresses it here. He says others meet the collision from the opposite side with a naive rationalism which expects that before long all myths of concern will be outgrown and only the appeal to reason and evidence and experiment will be taken seriously. It will, I hope, become clear in the course of this essay why I consider such a view entirely impossible. When we see a concern myth in the process of formation, it is an oversimplified view that regards fidelity to historical or sociological fact the only important moral principle involved. It seems to be one of the unavoidable responsibilities of educated people to show by example that beliefs may be held and examined at the same time. So let's listen to this. He's saying that educated people have the ability to, and in fact he considers it one of the responsibilities of, to show by example that you can hold a belief and examine that belief at the same time. You can be participating in a myth of concern, which is what a statement of belief is, and examine it from the perspective of the myth of freedom simultaneously. So they don't have to be in conflict or contradiction. The growth of non-mythical knowledge, factual knowledge, scientific knowledge, etc., the growth of non-mythical knowledge tends to eliminate the incredible from belief and helps to shape the myth of concern according to the outlines of what experience finds possible and vision desirable. But the growth of knowledge cannot in itself provide us with the social vision which will suggest what we should do with our knowledge. This comes up a lot in I think one of the roles of the myth of freedom, at least when it's focused on or put into relation with the myth of concern, is to kind of refine that myth of concern from the possible to the probable. What is realistic? What is realistically achievable in your social vision? What is possible in your social vision? What can actually be translated into the real world that we have to share and live in and accommodate ourselves to? Because remember, this societal myth of concern is based on vision, desire, hope, the world we want to live in. So it's kind of a world of dreaming and daydreaming, and it's not necessarily constrained by any practical reality. So one of the things the myth of freedom does is identify some of those practical constraints in this process of understanding the world, and helps to apply it to the myth of concern so that it can orient itself more realistically to the external environmental physical world that we all have to build the society within. But the knowledge that we acquire from using our critical faculties, using our intelligence, coming from within this myth of freedom approach, the knowledge itself, scientific knowledge itself, cannot tell us what to do with the knowledge. So for that, we still have to turn to some sort of social vision or societal myth of concern. He says, in its pure form, concern is expressed by an unquestioning belief that cares little for evidence or reason, or at least does not depend on them. But as the sense of the importance of truth of correspondence makes itself felt, concern attempts to absorb this sense by constructing a deductive attitude to experience. Thus, as Christianity developed, it rationalized itself, asserting that it possessed the truth of correspondence as well, and was true by the test of reason and historical evidence. In doing this, its faith, our central body of verbally articulated concern, became a set of major premises for a deductive rational structure provided by theology, from which in turn principles of philosophy and science were at least theoretically to be deduced. And a lot of this happened with Albertus Magnus, Thomas Aquinas, the Scholastics, William of Ockham, etc. Because before that, as a result of the Augustinian influence, Christianity was mostly focused on the world beyond. And at some point, it started to accommodate itself to the physical world, and Magnus and Aquinas gave it the philosophical and theological underpinnings to suddenly provide a new value to studying the physical world within a Christian framework, and not focusing exclusively on the otherworldly. He says Marxism is struggling with a similar deductive scholasticism, maintaining that its principles are scientific, and he has that in quotes, that is, valid major premises of science. In proportion as this deductive synthesis breaks down and individual sciences become autonomous, what we have called the myth of freedom begins to be effective. The feeling that tolerance and suspended judgment are good things in themselves and not merely expedient. So they become these mental habits that we're using to, even from within the myth of concern, to study and look at the world from a particular mythological worldview. As that mythological worldview breaks down under the examination and observation of empiricism, reason, science, etc., the mental activity or the mental habits that activity is based on become social values in and of themselves. They become constituent components of this new myth of freedom. So things like tolerance and suspended judgment, objectivity, etc., free and open dialogue, in addition to being tools for understanding reality, then become also societal values within this myth of freedom. So it helps to hold a second type of group, social group together, which is the group of intellectuals, educated people, scientists, people that are operating from within a myth of concern. And he's made the point before that there are intellectual and social values that arise from the functions of these two particular types of myths. So this is an example of how the social values that are found in the myth of freedom arise from the use of the myth of freedom itself to understand the external universe. He says Christianity began to enter this phase with the humanist movement of the late 15th century. But the ferocity of the conflict between Catholic and Protestant versions of the Christian myth of concern delayed the development of a myth of freedom for centuries. Eventually, a myth of freedom did arise from Christianity and from the activity of people from within the Christian myth to understand the world around them. He says it was just delayed by the Protestant Reformation and the conflict that had to play out between Catholicism and Protestantism. Marxism, he says, appears to be entering the same phase in the smaller European countries, with similar conflicts looming on the horizon. Okay, in democracies also, and remember, democracy itself is a myth of concern. Um, it's a myth of concern that attempts to consciously find a place for it, incorporate the values of a myth of freedom within it. But the societal values, the societal vision, the world that democracy wants to live in, or people that participate in a democracy want to live in, those are not scientific facts. Those are mythological facts, societal, psychological, social facts. So he says in the democracies too, a strong hankering for an encyclopedic synthesis of thought, which would have a solidly established body of scientific facts and laws as its foundation, and the premises of belief and hope as its superstructure, keeps recurring in every generation. In the 19th century, such ambitions gave a strong cosmological slant to philosophy. In fact, constructing encyclopedic systems or verbal cathedrals of knowledge and faith was often regarded as a philosophy's primary task. In the 20th century, it has become more widely accepted that mythical and logical languages are distinct languages, connected mainly by analogy. I think of Jordan Peterson, too. This shows up with the two types of one, the mythological way of looking and talking about things, and the scientific or logical way of talking about things. And remember, Fry was a professor at the same, Peterson was a professor at the same university as Fry, about a generation later. Marshall McLuhan was also one of Fry's contemporaries at the same university. He says, thus, if a philosophical, okay, this is important. This is kind of the nugget of what I want to talk about today. He says, if a philosophical or social thinker bases his structure on the conception of evolution, what he is working with is not really the same principle as the biological hypothesis of evolution, but is rather a mythical analogy of that hypothesis. So the philosophical or social thinker would be somebody working within the myth of concern, somebody trying to develop a myth of concern for whatever society that they're in at the time, for their age. And the more and more we get into the modern age, it's a myth of concern that aligns more closely than not to the myth of freedom. But it's not working off of science itself. So I think a lot of this, I tell you what, let me keep reading and then I'll come back to this. He says the vision of things as they could be certainly has to depend on the vision of things as they are. So the myth of concern, vision of things as they could be, in the secular modern world, it doesn't seem to be as successful as in the past unless it's connected some way to the vision of things that they are, the body of knowledge that has been developed from the use of the myth of freedom. But what is between them is not so much a point of contact as an existential gap, a revolutionary and transforming act of choice. The beliefs we hold and the kind of society that we're trying to construct are chosen from infinite possibilities. And the notion that our choices are inevitably connected with things as they are, whether through the mind of God or the constitution of nature, always turns out to be an illusion of habit. So when we think that we're making societal choices or helping to create or reinforce stories of how people work and what holds society together, and we think that we're basing them on science, which is the modern form of the myth of freedom, that's not what we're actually doing. They're not connected directly to science. They are analogized. We are taking analogies from science and building our myths of concern on these analogies, or incorporating these analogies into our myth of concern. But just because we analogize something to a scientific process or a scientific truth does not mean that that new myth is scientific or arises out of science or is connected to science. I think this is one of the most entrenched biases or prejudices or misunderstandings of the modern mind. That because something sounds scientific or uses the language of science, that it is therefore based on or connected to science. I can think of one place this showed up quite recently here on this stream. When I was reviewing that P.F. Jung video on memetics, and he did a little segment showing how genetics work, and then he did another one showing how memetics work, and tried to base how memetics worked on how genetics worked, and kind of say that because genetics work this way, we can study scientifically memetics and notice that they work the exact same way, so that therefore there's a scientific approach behind each one. What he was actually doing was making a mythical analogy between the way genes actually work, which is something that science can tell us, and the way memes, he was describing the way memes work, which is more of a social mythology. And I think I said it at the time, that just because genetics works one way scientifically, which is at a biological scale, when you're talking about memetics and human communication, in fact, he called them meme complexes. So everything we're calling myths or mythologies, we could easily call meme complexes if we wanted to align it with Paul's science of memetics, or study of memetics, rather. And I said when you scale up from the biological, from the gene, to the social, and you start talking about communication, you're working with a different layer of reality, and there's not a one-to-one correspondence between the two. And Northrop Frye says the same thing. He says there's not so much a point of contact between a mythical analogy and the thing it's being analogized to as an existential gap. And so we choose our societal vision, we choose our beliefs, we choose our myths of concern, and currently in the modern world, we seem to more or less choose them from the body of knowledge, which we're calling science, or scientism, or science-ish, because we want them to appear to have some kind of real-world validity, so that we establish credibility. We establish that they're actionable in reality. So now I think a lot of these conspiracy theories may not. I think religious myths that are concerned mostly on the other world and not this world. We hear a lot about spiritual warfare, the battle between good and evil, the cosmic battle between good and evil, and that present-day historical events are just a playing out or kind of a mask for cosmic spiritual events. I think those people are still drawing from existing historical myths of concern. But I think in the modern world, a lot of our more social, including the progressive myths of implicit bias, racism, all of that purports to be based on science, but it is at most a mythical analogy to certain things that we actually find in the biological and physical sciences. But that does not make it science itself. And I myself have personally challenged people on here using fact, reason, logic, evidence, all of the tools of hard science. And some of those concepts start to break down, just like he described the Christian myth breaking down, the Marxist myth breaking down. A myth of concern will start to break down the mythical parts of it under the light of reason. But it will still keep some of the correspondence parts that reason can then use and incorporate into itself. And I've gotten the same kind of resistance that he describes from Christians, Marxists, and that I get from, maybe they're related, but this victim, people that are invested in a mythology of victimization and victimhood, very similar types of resistance. So I guess my final takeaway from today's section is When you're trying to use reason, logic, and fact to critically examine something and get at the truth of it, pay attention to the resistance and pay attention to the mythological structures which are more than likely societal and not factual. They indicate a form of society that these people want to live in. It's based on desire, hope, and belief. Um, pay attention to that, and pay attention to the specific facts that you're trying to focus on and observe and their relation to that myth, because there's going to be a gap between the fact and the myth that they're working out of. And I'm not quite sure what to do about it because it shows up on here a lot, and all I can do is continue to point out from the myth of freedom side of it how things appear logically, how they appear to the reason, how they appear from the scientific perspective. And remember, the scientific method is observation, looking at some kind of external fact that you can communicate to others and they can look and see the same fact. But then the second step is hypothesis. What is a hypothesis other than a story to explain those observations? So even within the scientific, there's a story element built into the method. You have to tell yourself a story about the facts you're observing, and then you test the story to see if it corresponds to reality. I think that's the difference between the myth of freedom and the myth of concern, is that testability and that falsifiability. You can falsify your stories to see if they correspond to natural, environmental, physical reality, or do they not? And that's part of that stripping away of the mythological elements. As you move from concern to freedom, that's one of the things that happen, and we see it as early as the Greeks, where the Ionic natural philosophers started to look for explanations for natural phenomena like storms, lightning, the rising of the sun, etc., that didn't depend on mythological sources. So they instead of the sun being a chariot being dragged across the sky, since they couldn't see the chariot, they would eliminate that from their explanation, and they would try to find an explanation that was faithful to the observable facts. And from that grew philosophy and eventually science. So, and Freud, I think, has a quote saying that the most painful, I don't remember the exact quote, but something like the most painful thing that a person can lose is their illusions. So when you start to try to strip away people's beliefs or illusions that their whole culture, psychology, sense of social meaning and social belonging is based on, you're going to get that resistance. And I would say just pay attention to it, because it doesn't mean you're factually wrong. It probably means that you're coming into a collision with some kind of societal myth of concern that's very important to you, because that's where our values are, and that's where our vision for the kind of world we want to live in is. And I think those are fundamental to being human. And so there's no point in trying to strip those away. I think the better path is to kind of reconcile and accommodate the two as best you can, at least in part of the myth of democracy that we live in now. That's the best path forward that that particular societal myth has yielded so far. All right, I'm going to look at comments and then drop the link. Or rather, drop the link and then look at comments. All right. Open panel. Come on up. And Kitty, Helena, hello. Your hands are claws. Who's Puma Man? Hey, Vinny, what's up? I thought I was Puma Man now. We talked about that the other day, like the male version of a cougar. Oh no, I was looking for a puma. Puma for puma. How about that? Um, yeah, well, that free will exists is one of the assumptions of modern science, I believe. It would almost have to be. It's certainly an assumption of the myth of freedom. I mean, it's right there in the name, freedom. It's the freedom to observe, the freedom to think about what you observe, the freedom to talk and share information and thoughts about what you observe. Besides, if we have no free will, the myth of concern doesn't matter either. None of all of this depends on the freedom to choose. I mean, Fry even makes the point that our um, vision for the society we want to live in is chosen from an infinite uh, set of possibilities. So if we don't have the ability to choose any of that, then nothing, yeah, nothing I'm saying is relevant. Hey, Jess, and One Love. And a lot of people I find, hey, Brooke, I find a lot of people confuse free will, which is the ability to make a choice, with the amount of choices you have to choose from. They feel like if you have less choices, then somehow that could strain your ability to actually make the choice itself. And those two things are completely separate. You can have 100 choices, 10 choices, 2 choices, but the will itself is the ability to choose from however many number of choices you have. If your choices get reduced, that's not reducing your ability to choose from those choices. That's just reducing the choices. Oh, dog, seriously. I didn't realize that. Well, we welcome all types here. Marxists, dirty commies, all of them. In fact, we used to have a what was Lib? He was a communist, more or less. We used to have a communist co-host. I don't know what you mean by outdated. We still use it. I still use it every day. Yeah, and even before I was into all this the stuff that I'm in now, like studying this from a more intellectual level. Even growing up, when I was debating Christians and mostly it was around the gay issue. I didn't really care about the others, the existential or cosmological stuff. I was never trying to destroy their religion. I was just trying to carve out some tolerance for myself, and that's it. I it's kind of like tell like taking away the belief in Santa from a child. There's something cruel about that, and it's not something I take pleasure in doing. So I don't go out of my way to take that away from people. What's up?
Hey man, long time no see.
How you been? What's been going on?
I'm all right. How are you?
Oh, pretty good. Happy New Year. I like your light
Yeah, happy
today.
New Year. Oh, thanks.
Is that your electric light, or is that just coming from your window?
No, they're just LEDs that are strung up all over the place.
Oh,
They
nice. Is it the kind you can change colors and
yeah,
patterns
yeah,
on?
they like fade and do all kinds of weird stuff.
I want some
You
of
can
those
even
today.
control them with your phone, which is crazy. It costs like I don't know, $13, and it came. I got 100 feet of them. It's like a LED strip, and it came with a little remote that works really good, and you can also use your phone to control it.
Oh yeah, I think I've seen that before. I think my friend had some of those. Um, what made you disbelieve? What made? How did I end up disbelieving in Catholicism? Sixth grade science class.
Really?
Yeah, science. I just started. Science started making more sense than spirits and angels and supernatural beings.
They blinded you with science.
It did. I guess it did. I'm I'm definitely blinded by the scientific worldview unless I have a reason, unless I experience something that challenges that gives me a reason to question it, which I haven't so far.
Well, what kills me is that thing where they say, because there's evil in the world, uh, then, God is not all good or something like that. And then there was another thing that suggests that, like, God is not all powerful. It's one of these things like, if God was all powerful, he could create a stone so big that even he couldn't lift it. It's a paradox.
Yeah. Which that kind of thinking actually sounds more Greek than Christian.
Yeah,
But
but
Christianity
but
was informed a lot by Greek philosophy.
but when you think about it, it's like, come on, man. Like there are loopholes in thinking that can provide for some interesting conundrums.
And I think the idea behind the problem of evil is that if God is benign and the creator of the universe, then how did we end up with evil from a benign creator?
Yeah, I mean, is he not completely in control or what? And then everybody will start screaming, "Free will! It's free will!" Blah blah blah. And it's like, yeah, okay, but I
Do
don't
you
know if we
believe in you don't believe in free will?
I don't know if we have it or not. I mean, your DNA is like a program, and
But it doesn't control. You think it controls everything you do?
to a large degree, you're a human being because of it. Like, I mean, that's that's why you're here in this shape. You know.
Well, I guess it controls my shape, but I don't know if it controls the choices I make.
Well, that's the question. Does it or doesn't it? I mean,
Dog, that's funny. The wealthiest people I know are mostly atheist and secularist.
mm,
Of course, I live in Washington State, which has a high rate of non-religious. Freak! Oh wow, thank you so much. Thank you. You just reminded me. I can release memberships too. Um, okay, we have, oh Lord, Proby. He's one of the trolls I released. See
uh,
if he comes back. Austin Murphy is Church of Four, Shiva. Haven't seen him in a while.
mm,
JS Urban Adventures. I caught him on James Life Talks the other day. And MJ. All courtesy of Freak. We have 5 new outliers. Thank you so much. Here, let's get you some fanfare. Welcome our new outliers. Oh, what intro? The music? Oh, thank you. That means a lot because sometimes I'm not sure how much I'm wasting. You got to remember, part of this stream is a journal, is my journal, and so sometimes I do things just to have it down captured in case I need to go back to it later. And so, if nothing else, I'm at least archiving this for the future. Yeah, but and dirty. That's true, but I would say that's separate from the will itself. Oh my God! Why, okay, y'all are just we're creating a whole army today because I'm about to release some too. All right, new members. What a way to start the new year. Oh Lord. Um,
there we
oh
go.
Andrew, haven't seen him in a while. You, Mrs. Flo. Oh Lord, Pink Birdo, Macaroni Heart. Is that Birdo himself?
Wait. Let me. No, no, that's not him.
All right, it's probably a Birdo sock.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. All right. Well, hey, I tell you what. Why don't we just keep it going? I'll drop a few myself.
I can't get memberships.
You have your thing toggled on?
Where?
I think if you you can hit the join button under the video, or you can hit the little membership button
Hmm.
next, like where you go to buy super chats, and I think both of those give the option to turn on memberships. Oh my God, Dirty, are you serious? I can think of several people that would disagree, but I'm just gonna learn to say thank you. Well, I won't release memberships then until you turn yours on if you're trying to get one.
What? I don't know if I can do it, man.
Are you doing it from a phone?
No, I'm on the computer. It's different on the computer, I think.
Okay, let me see. I'm on a computer too. Can someone tell him how to turn on his memberships? If I think like under the chat where you go to chat, there's a little money sign, the dollar. I think if
Yeah.
you hit that and go to membership, it gives you an option to turn on where you can receive gift memberships.
Where it's green, right? And it says membership.
Yeah, I think so. Has a little padlock.
Yeah. No, I already was at this page, and it doesn't have any kind of toggle switch or anything.
Oh, what about the join button under the video?
Yeah, that's the same thing. It brings you right to this same page.
Do you have a brand account by any chance?
Uh, I don't know. I don't know what that means.
All right, let me check YouTube. It says click join, and there's an option called more. There's an option called more, and then after you hit more, there's an option called gift settings.
Wait, where it says learn more?
Um, you hit the join button. Let me see. Join. Oh, hang on. It's trying to charge me for a membership on my own channel. I'll go. I'll cancel that.
Yeah, see, that's what's happening.
You hit join, and oh, is it? It's the three little dots at the top by the X.
Oh, all
And
right.
there's one called gift settings.
There is?
There was on mine. I'm hitting the join button under the video, and then at the very top right, there's three little dots. When I hit that, it gives me three options. The last one says gift settings.
Oh, I see where you are. Okay. No, I just have learn more about memberships and report perks.
But you don't have gift settings?
Nope.
When did you make your account?
2006, I think.
Oh, it might be a brand. They don't use brand accounts anymore, but some of the older accounts ended up as brand accounts, and those are not able to receive gift memberships.
Well, that would
And yours
explain
might be
it.
one of those.
Yeah. Because every time I've tried, I cannot find anything that looks like a, that
Well,
would.
consider yourself an honorary member and just pretend like your
All
name is green with a badge next to it.
right. Thank you.
All right, let me see. Gift 5 memberships. Here we go. Wait, what are you saying? Back and forth in a spurgy kind of way? Oh, I'll take it. Married to the mob boss.
That's
Mental
Ace.
pancakes. I like that name. Oh, Lotus.
Ace came to my. I started doing a word game now. I
Oh
don't know
yeah,
if
I
you
saw
saw
that.
that. Yeah, I like that.
And Effigy, animated Effigy got one. Congratulations, Effigy. Plasma, are you trying to get one? Do you have yours turned on? Because I can release 5 more. Yeah, he tried that freak, and apparently he doesn't have the kind of account that can accept gifts. Um, all right, I'm gonna release my last batch of 5. I wonder why it's not giving you one. You want to double check Plasma and make sure you have them turned on? You just go to join at the bottom, and there's 3 little dots in the upper right, and one of them should say gift settings. And if it's turned on, then I'll go ahead and release 5 more, because you definitely should have one by now. You're one of our most active participants. Okay, well, let's give this a try. You too, Brooke. I wish there was a way for there's not a way to give individual memberships, otherwise I would give some myself. It's all random. All right, the last batch of 5. Ah, Zephyr, Dirty Dog, Telecline, Smoke and Mirrors, and Plastic African. Dang it.
Hey, Plastic African.
I wonder why Brooke and Plasma are not getting gifts. I don't know. It's done by algorithms, so I don't know why the algorithm is picking these other people and not people that hang out here all the time.
Hmm.
Which I keep defending the algorithm and saying that it's just a tool. It's not anything to be concerned about. But now I'm wondering why it's not giving my people their memberships. So what are you doing today? You have anything fun going on?
Nah, I got to learn some songs, and I haven't been practicing at all. So tonight's going to be the night where I really put my what do they call it, nose to the grindstone or whatever.
Oh yeah. Are you learning this for a band?
Possibly. I mean, it's me and a guitar player, and then after that, maybe we'll get a drummer. I hope we get a drummer, because that's where I really like get creative. Is when there's a real drummer there. I hate playing along with drum machines, and that's what we're doing now. So
Oh, they don't have the drums perfected where it's close enough to real. Hey,
yeah,
Brooke.
he's using an old drum machine, and I have an old one too that has better sounding drum samples, but I don't know if we can use it anymore because it's so old. I don't know if it has the right connections. Like, there's no USB or any of that bullshit on it. It's just like RCA cables or something, and quarter inch.
Well, if I were there, if I were closer, I would go bang on some garbage can lids or some plastic buckets or something.
Thank you.
What's up, Brooke?
Hey,
Hello.
I'm wondering. Uh, you were speaking about the algorithms, and maybe they're choosing the people who don't come often for you to get more for you to get more viewership. I don't know. That's
That's
my.
what someone was. Yeah, that I wonder too, because sometimes people do show up once they get a membership. They show up at the channel and say, "Hey, I just got a membership." Like Montero here. I haven't seen him in forever. What's up? It
I mean, that's just my
brings them out of their
hypothesis.
cave. But I also think that people that participate on a pretty much daily basis Should certainly be on the list.
And
Happy New Year to you too. So far, it is. It well, hope
Fingers crossed, man.
right, and even a few trolls get the gift.
Well, that's like the same thing when you go to Silver Diamonds giveaways. Someone who never goes there always wins.
How does she determine who
She's
gets it?
got one. She's got one of those things from like an old game show or something. It's like this golden cage,
Oh,
and she
oh,
put
an actual
yeah, and she
physical
put
thing, and she puts some.
puts the
She puts
names in,
names in it.
yeah, and spins them around.
Hey Z.
It's funny.
Traveling Fools has one he uses for trivia, which is automated, and it can pull names from the chat room and add it to this wheel, and then it automatically spins the wheel. It's all digital.
Yeah. Yeah, well, like that game, the word game, that thing, I can just let that roll by itself, and I don't even have to watch it. But the point is that I wanted to do something like I used to do on OBS, where we used to play Pictionary on there, and that was fun because you would have some stupid ass pictures that people would draw. It was just hysterical, you know. Like I want to do something like that again. Just
We
have
we
some
could do
laugh.
that here. All it takes is a whiteboard. We used to do it on Zoom.
I was gonna say, remember when we did it on
You were
Zoom?
good too. I remember.
Not at the
You
drawing part, but at the
at the
guessing
guessing.
part.
You were really good at guessing.
Well, I remember one night everybody was drunk and stoned, and me and my friend were playing with some other people, and we just didn't give a shit. We were like done with the game, so so we started writing the word of what it was inside the picture, like hiding the word in the picture, so that we each knew that we were doing that, you know, like, and we were cheating completely. And they were like, "Wow, you guys are amazing! How the hell did you figure it out from that picture?" You know, and we were just writing the word in the picture.
Oh, I found a whiteboard. I'm gonna try. I just gotta figure out how to erase the one I just drew.
Um, I think that I like to blame the fact that I'm good at guessing the Pictionary stuff due to the fact I've been in the psych ward way too many times.
That what? That what?
That I was in the psych ward too many times, and that's how
Oh,
I became good at it.
oh yeah. I remember that.
Sorry,
Playing board games.
I mean, if I can't make fun of myself, then who can?
All right, I'm gonna pick a random. I'll let's see. Maybe maybe a movie title. Let's see. Oh, this is. Let's see. Random Pictionary, and then I'll try to draw it.
What may I ask what the topic would be?
Um, I, I'll see if it tells me. It looks like this one. This is stupid because it just does words. I want ones that do like titles and complicated things. Um,
What are you looking at? A whiteboard?
yeah, I found a online whiteboard, and so I just need to get a something to draw, just to try it out.
Hmm.
I'm not the best artist, believe me.
Well, that's what makes it fun when you play Pictionary. Yeah, I used to run a stream on Live Leak. I don't know if you know that website. It was They would show all kinds of things like accidents and death and that kind of stuff. But the people on there were really good people, and we used to have like a little community of streamers. And I had a show, and like 30 people would show up every day from all over the world, like Denmark and all these weird places. And it was really cool. And we would play games, like music trivia. We would play, like I said, Pictionary. There was something else she did too that was another kind of trivia, I think, besides music trivia. It was just like general stuff, I guess. It's pretty cool though.
That's what I want to do more of. We tried to get games happening on here forever, but it just
That's
takes finding the people to do it.
Yeah, well, that's what I want to do, man.
Well, we should do it.
A
All
lot
right,
of
I
fun.
have one. It's a movie title. I will attempt to draw it.
We have to
You,
guess.
yeah, let me. I'm gonna buy. Oh, hang on. I need a different pen.
Oh, Lord of the Rings.
No.
Rain Man.
Get out of there. Oh wow! It draws your circles perfectly.
Bruce Almighty?
Um,
I mean, that's sorry.
The movie title.
Which is Bruce Almighty. Angels? Christian?
What the hell are you doing, Jeff?
Hi Almighty. I don't know.
I don't know how else to say it. All right,
Holier than thou.
going to the other part.
Is this a person?
It's a movie.
A movie?
I love how it makes the circles perfect because I always struggle with that.
Yeah. It's a
Family?
movie.
Father.
Heavenly Father. Um,
Priest.
Let me try something else.
Angels? Saint Peter.
what the fuck?
What WASF said? Passion of the Christ.
Come on, god damn.
Doctor Strange.
Jeff is drawing freak.
No, don't change my shapes on me. Go back. I don't want it to do that. I need it to be okay.
The Ten Commandments.
Something about Moses. Jesus.
Jesus Christ Superstar.
Something about father,
Does
though,
the chat
right?
know it at all?
No,
Something about
that's what I'm looking.
it's something about father, right? Father Christ, Father.
It's not.
Passion of the Christ.
That's
Um.
what.
Oh, well, I think I've done about as good as I could do. Let me try one more thing.
Oh, I got it. Star Wars.
No, I would have drawn a star.
Yes, it's a movie.
Oh, the crucifixion of the Christ or something. I don't know. The Passion of the Christ. Father. Sins of the Father. Father Murphy.
All right, I'm done. Somebody else take a crack.
What is it?
Did anyone in the chat get it at all? Freak,
The, the
you
Son
got
of
very
God.
close. Freak got the closest. Just reverse those.
Oh, the Godfather?
Yes.
What the?
Y'all don't
What?
recognize God when you see him?
No.
What's wrong with
I've
you
never seen.
heathens?
Well, I can't
I'm a
say I've never
Satanist and
seen
I know what God is.
it. That looked like a dude, man.
It
Like
was a dude. It was a dude up in the clouds, an old dude with the beard. Who else would that be?
I don't know, man. It could have been like she said, Saint Peter. That's what I was thinking after she said it. I was like, yeah, okay.
Good guesses. Good. But, well, here's the thing, Zephyr. I never actually saw the movie, so I guess I could have tried. I think it would have got more confusing if I tried to draw pizza and spaghetti and try to connect it with Italian.
Hey, where's the? What does he say? The peppers and sausage.
But here I will. Oh, where'd the whiteboard go? I'll post the link to the whiteboard if anybody else wants to try one.
Mm,
How do I get rid of this?
I'll give it a shot.
All right, you either have to think of a title or something, or just get one, get it generated.
Oh shit! What they generate titles for you?
Yeah, I'll put the link for that in the back. There you go. There's the whiteboard and the random generator.
Oh God! All right.
God, communication is so frustrating. If he'd been eating meatballs, oh, see, I didn't think of any of that.
All
By
right.
the way,
I'm just gonna think of one word. Okay. It's a
Okay,
concept,
okay.
and you guys have to guess what it is. But do I have to hit present here?
Yeah, and then I'll share the screen.
so one word. Is it a movie?
It's a oops,
No,
sorry. It's a
it's
concept.
a thing. I guess a concept. Yeah. All right.
Sorry, I'm laughing at dirty dog.
Africa. Oh, death.
Wow, that was quick.
That was it's one thing I know is death.
Okay, you got me.
I can try.
Okay. The link to the whiteboard is in the
Yeah.
back.
So do I just press present then?
Yeah.
Uh.
And then choose the screen with the whiteboard on it.
Okay. Okay, won't let me. Oops. Oh, wait. Okay, there. Okay, I got it. Is it showing up now? There it
Yep.
is. Okay.
Yep, there it is. You good?
It's going to be a movie.
All right. Oh, I got it.
You
No.
don't. Okay, there's a person in it, or it involves a person.
It's Harrison Ford.
Rapunzel.
That's
Oh, Pippi Longstocking. Ant-Man, Ant Lady. Oh, Son,
Sound of Music.
Little Orphan Annie. Son, the Sunshine, Princess Bride. What was it? Little Miss Sunshine?
Yes.
Ah,
What the fuck, Jeff? How do you do that?
just trying to think of titles with sunshine in it. I was gonna say Little
Wow,
House on the Prairie, not.
that was crazy, man.
I wish the chat could
I
tell.
was in the middle of drawing a crown.
I don't want to play with Jeff anymore.
Why?
Because you're too good, man. What the hell
Oh,
is this?
I'm not at drawing. All right, I'm gonna get it to generate more. Let's see. What category of words do you want? How do I go back?
I'll be right back.
I'm sorry. I'm seeing if I have chocolate on my teeth through the camera. Probably some. Probably things people don't want to see.
The Sound of Music. Oh, okay. All right. This one's a book. How do I
Okay.
get rid of? Oh, you just scroll. Oh, wow, that's cool. You just scroll down. It's like infinite whiteboard. All right, I'll try to pull this one off. I'll wait for that. Stop it, not laws. I haven't even started drawing yet.
At least wait for Jeff to start drawing, please.
Well, I'm just happy we're playing games on here at all. I've been trying to do this forever. We played Monopoly one night. That's about it.
Hey, not lost. Stop it.
He's not gonna get it. At least not from guessing. I mean, not until I start drawing. Well. What are some other games we used to do during COVID?
I know we did Hangman a couple of times.
Oh yeah, I love Hangman. There's probably some online versions of it.
I'm trying to figure out.
Oh, Nightmare. I would love to play that. It's neurodiversity, which I guess is a form of biodiversity. See, he's throwing me off. It's fresh in my head of how to draw it. If I wait too long, I'm going to lose the inspiration.
Just start drawing it.
I think it's a good thing. Um, some people. That was one of the suggestions, actually. But I figured that'd be too easy. I mean, I can draw a whale easily.
And it's
They would
not
have
that
gotten it
hard
right
to.
away. They would have said Moby Dick or the Book of Jonah, maybe Pinocchio.
I would have also thought of either Peter Pan or Hook, because Hook and Peter Pan and Hook lost. The reason why Hook got a hook is because a whale ate it or something. Sorry.
Oh, was it Peter Pan? Maybe that's what I'm thinking of instead of Pinocchio. All right, let me see if I can pull this off.
It's a book.
We'll do it the easy way first.
Birds,
This
a
is a book,
gun. Yeah.
To Kill a Mockingbird.
Thank you. Yeah, that's good.
How did I do it?
Good. The because I wasn't sure how I was going to draw Mockingbird if Bird didn't do it. Oh yeah, Free Willy. I forgot about that.
Oh, okay. It was a crocodile. Oops. Sorry.
Is that a Canadian book? That might explain some things.
I never saw like Peter Pan or any of that.
The cartoon?
Yeah. I'm not really sure what the story is. Although I did hear some dark shit about it, like saying that I don't know, there's these pirates or something, and they're like little kids that got away
That's the
from
Lost
the
Boys. That's where the Lost Boys comes from.
yeah.
Wasn't Hook Peter? That was Peter Pan, right? That was the Lost Boys.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Hook live version of Peter Pan, and Peter Pan and Wendy had grown old. And Wendy was really, really old, like grandma old, and um Peter Pan was a father.
That's the one with Tinkerbell. That's
Yes.
where Tinkerbell comes from.
And and um Julia Roberts played Tinkerbell, and Robin Williams played Peter Pan.
Wow. Well, I missed that one.
Who played Hook?
I'm not 100% sure.
Dustin Hoffman.
What? Is that for real?
Yeah, he was Hook. Granny Wendy. Maggie Smith. Oh, I loved her.
She died last year.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
She lasted a while. Dustin Hoffman. I
Is he still alive?
think so. Yep.
How's he a perv?
Because
Sorry.
everybody's a perv to not loss.
Everybody's a perv to everybody these days.
He's All right. Well, now it's my turn to step away. I'm gonna go grab some more coffee. I'll be back.
All right.
Let's get our spitballs ready for Jeff. Just kidding.
What?
I hope you
Spitballs?
guys spitballs. You know the little paper wet balls you put in
Yeah, yeah.
That's why I always sat up front because my teachers didn't trust me.
I always tried to sit in the back so that me and my friends could pass notes or just, show each other our notebooks because we would write funny things about about the teacher or something like that.
Oh yeah, I got caught doing that one day. My friends gave her the notebook while I was out running an errand for her, and she
Oh
read it to
boy,
the class when I got back.
nice. Was it nasty?
It was some limericks. It wasn't nasty, but it was unflattering. We had we had to write limericks in the class before, so I used her in some of the limericks. So, what are you doing today, Brooke?
Nothing.
Just hanging out.
Yeah. Hey, tomorrow makes 5 years exactly to the, not just to the date, but to the day since I started volunteering at Paws Cat City.
5
Yeah,
years?
exactly 5 years. I started Tuesday, January 7th of 2020, and tomorrow is Tuesday, January 7th of 2025.
Oh, right, because today's January 6th, and Trump got
Yeah.
inaugurated.
Today?
Hmm. So now I guess is he official? Does he start his official term today?
I didn't think he got inaugurated until later.
Let me see.
I thought it was like the
I saw
19th
news
or
earlier.
something.
Kamala came up and gave a speech and handed off the power. Ooh, Giuliani just got found contempt of court. Congress certifies Trump's victory. Oh, it's the ceremony that he tried to interrupt, or they say he tried to interrupt back in 2021, where Congress certifies the election. That happened today. I don't know when does he actually take office?
That's what I'm gonna try to figure out. January 20th. Monday, January 20th.
Okay, so it's still Biden until then,
Yeah, till
for the
then,
next
yeah,
2 weeks.
yeah. If he can make it.
Where are you? That's the background.
He's in
I
Star
was
Wars.
watching Star Wars today.
No, I'm home.
Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you
Oh,
hear me?
you're
Can't
we
hear
can't
you,
hear you.
man. You're very
I
low.
I
I
can
am.
barely hear you.
Turn me up!
Yeah, there you are.
Now we can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
What
Okay,
are you
Steve,
doing?
I'm here. I'm home. See, Jeff? See, I'm home. Look, I do have a house.
Oh, I believed you. You're never in it, but I believe that you have one. You need some place to keep your wife and kids.
I
That's
don't
not
have
you.
kids. My
God, you
wife
have
and
the
kids are
same
now.
house that half of people on Zoom have. What a nice house.
True story, huh? We all share the same abode.
Yeah, they
Hell, it looks like it might have been taken in her house
lobster men do
from that
pretty well up
chair.
there.
Same color. Look, I think it was her house it was taken in.
Uh, you play piano, I'm sure.
Crypto!
Do you
Sunshine!
work? Did you work today?
No, I did
I
not.
saw you on with Berto earlier. Like I would,
Where?
I'm like,
I
who put
used
him
it
up
for
to that?
content.
Poor leggy.
I used it for content, sir.
Oh,
Dude, I got like 30
Leggy
watch
and
hours.
Birdo are like bread and
Like,
butter
dude, like that
together.
was the most watch hours I've got in a long time. Like, I use
from
Birdo.
Berto, he's that
I
man. He's that much of a golden goose.
dude, I fucking
Yeah.
Hook, line, and sinker him in. Told him right in. He told, and he got all this shit. I was like, whatever. I go, oh, Henry. Shut up, Henry. I go, it's okay.
Henry.
And I didn't even know that was his name until he mentioned it. So
Oh,
I
I
just
wasn't
thought,
even sure what gender it was, honestly.
I don't even know what Berto is. He's a eunuch.
It's a he.
It's a Henry.
Was a he, but it's now a eunuch.
It's a boy, Mrs. Walker. It's a boy.
Was that from
Yeah. So
Tommy?
that
Yeah.
was 7 hours though. I went 7 hours straight today, Jeff.
Streaming?
Yes, sir.
Damn, what time did you start?
I don't know. I just ended it.
Oh,
So like what?
wow.
11? What would that been?
Yeah, I
10:30?
saw when I left you, you were going to the store and you put on a video and you left Berto on your channel by yourself. And I'm like,
Yeah, and then
oh
Berto, I come
no.
back. Berto was like, "You kicked me out. I wasn't even home." Like, and then tried to tell me I blocked him in chat, and I'm like, Berto, I'm trying to unblock you and give you a fucking wrench. Like, how did I block you?
You
Like,
were
why
giving
would I
him a
block you?
wrench? Wow, that's some
Well,
trust.
I just did it just so Berto wouldn't get timed out in the chat. I didn't give him the super duper wrench. I did it first, but then I took it away once I
Ah.
realized what I did. But some
The
people do.
leg giveth and the leg taketh away.
Look, sir, I'm pretty sure you're cheating with that game. You probably got one of them. You're probably putting the letters into Google and like going through because you're like hitting these words, and I'm just like, what the fuck is these
What,
No
his
words?
word
man, he,
game?
no,
Yeah,
Leggy was creeping up on me. Like if he had been there for let's say 15 minutes longer, he would have been kicking my ass all over the place.
What's the word game? Is it something we can play?
Yeah,
yes, yes, we could,
Ah.
but we'd have to chat. Do it like it only reacts through chat, right?
yeah.
So you have
What?
to type the words in chat,
Oh,
It's
can,
called
and it like
what?
somehow I don't know how to do it, but I know somehow it registers.
Yeah, it's called Words on Stream, and you just go to the website and then you click on YouTube and link it up to your YouTube account.
oh, wow. Okay.
It's very
Um,
easy.
let's see. YouTube.
My mic, can you guys hear me? Is it good?
It's
Are we
quiet,
good? Oh, we're good. I can tell we're good. We're good.
very quiet. Like
I'm quiet?
yeah.
No, I think you gotta turn your mic up because I get it on 200 for Christ's sakes. Well, maybe I gotta fucking talk closer to the mic. I don't fucking know. Don't ask me, Cletus. I don't know.
You know, the
I'm not gonna
closer
say
you
shit.
get, the better.
Can you hear me now, Cletus Brown?
What,
Yeah,
it's giving me like, oh, okay, I see. And I just share the screen?
yeah, yep.
All right, you'll have 10 minute play. Hang on, I'll be right back. Hey, Axis, what's up? 1 second.
Man, time is just fucking flying by for me, and I haven't done shit all day.
I know. I don't
Oh,
understand why
I'm
this is.
loud, Ricardo. Am I louder than everyone? I could turn my things down.
Why in the chat? I don't give a fuck about you guys. How's the chat? For some reason, the background's not working as good now as it was earlier. Like, what the fuck?
I like that one a lot better than that house you were in. Okay, let's see. Oh, I'm always loud? Like my mic or just me? Okay, so this is what I have so far.
Don't ask me. I've never done it, so I don't know how to. Like, I've played the game, but I've never done it. Yeah, this one.
Do I go how to play? Let's see.
No,
Step
you should
one.
No,
just
no, no.
start. It
Oh, you
should.
Just
find the
start.
words.
It should
Just
sync,
start.
right?
Yeah, it'll sync up.
Ooh, I hate the mute. Turn. Ooh, God, can we please
Yeah,
turn
go
it
to
off?
settings and turn that shit off.
Okay.
Then you
So
just hit
start.
start. Yeah.
I should have turned on the sound effects too. Um, stop it. Why does it move them around?
What?
I'm usually pretty good at this. Why? Does the chat play? Oh, good.
What the fuck?
Oh, duh.
Wait a second. That's how the hell did you get it
Oh, that's
before
so
me? That
cool. The
was
chat can
no.
play. So you just keep finding more of the same. All right. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
Oh hey,
oh, it doesn't have to use all the letters. Okay, in that case, how do I do it?
just type in into the chat.
Well, he just stole mine. Oh, type it in
So
the chat. I see.
yeah.
This. I wonder if StreamYard counts. Did it do it for StreamYard? No, I have to be in the YouTube chat. All right. Hang on. This noise is getting on my nerves.
Damn it, Leggy. You just got the one that I was going to do.
Oh, the idea is to fill up all of them. Okay.
Yeah. These people are
Damn.
good. I can't compete. Shit.
Oh, it's only four letters or more. Okay. Um,
Well, and of course it keeps.
Yay! I
Oh,
got on the board.
all right. Who won this round? Who won it?
He'll tell
Who's
you.
the people with the bigger?
Zephyr. It's that.
I'm in third.
Be the
Yeah,
first
that's
to
the one.
find.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
Oh. Okay.
Zach got it before me. Shit.
Hmm.
Y'all
Finally.
are really good at this.
Hmm.
Who's choke
Now,
not on? What?
now it
Oh,
gets.
cause not a lot got it. That's why.
Coke.
Oh, nice one. Hawk. I didn't think of that.
Oh, not a lot. Jesus, Lotta, I say he's cheating.
Who?
You do this all the time, right?
Oh wait, no, never mind.
Oh, I was gonna put yolk.
Oh, wow. Yeah, sometimes you got to put shit in like twice before it picks it up because it doesn't get you. It doesn't get you immediately.
So there's one more, four letters.
It don't show you either, does it?
Fantastic.
That's the one thing it doesn't show you the missing words, but
It might have been choice. Oh well, that's
no,
up to
I
you.
it
put like
wasn't.
two
Wait.
word. How did I get this? There's no way I'm at level 3.
No, you got you in this level. You were third place overall. You were fifth place. I'm fourth
I
place.
put like one word. turf.
Mhm.
How is reef not on there? That don't make sense to me. What the fuck? That's fucking sucks. I definitely put reef in like 3 times before you did. Like that fucking
Oh, you typed it in and it didn't take
yeah,
it?
like 3 times or twice
Man,
Yeah,
maybe.
that's. I wish I
that's the
could.
way. That's the way it
Why do you
goes
think that
sometimes.
is? Is that a glitch? I wish I could give you mine.
It's just the way the game is, I
Because you
guess.
would. Reef belongs to you more than anybody. Oh.
Oh, Jen.
Oh, Zed already got it. Four letters.
Oh, okay. Fear. Triffer. Oh, well, we didn't get it, but that's all right.
What the fuck? That pisses me off.
How is not laws way up there?
Well, because well, who knows?
He's probably
I
hacking it. Hmm.
What?
God, it helps if I can spell it. Type it. Ooh, look. Yeah, that's what we talk about.
swear if you get moldy or mold,
Ah, I can't type.
What the hell? This is a tough one, man.
look, I did mold already. You know how pissed I'd be. I swear, they some words they won't accept them. I don't know why, even though it is a word that could be made.
I know. Yeah.
What does the D mean? It turned orange.
Means it's a fake letter, I think. I don't know.
Oh. Oh, and each letter has different points.
Uh,
Something's fucked up right now. I don't know why.
damn, Jeff, we think alike. Damn, Jeff.
There's still what, six let? There's a six-letter one.
Yeah, what the hell could that be?
We'll never know. Oh, one of the letters is fake. That means, what does that mean? Oh, so they don't all make words. Shit.
When it highlights the letter, it means it's the fake one, I
This
think.
is wrong. Okay. Ooh.
Oh my god, what the fuck is this? Anal? Really? That's what you go to? Damn. Good one.
Didn't take it. Gallus is a word. Take my word.
Oh, they already got it.
There we go. Oh, Card already got it. I think the J is fake. Yep.
Good grief.
Oh, good one, Leggy.
Yeah, huh? He's good.
Oh my God. I got
Uh,
burned is a word. Why is it taking it? Oh, maybe the B is fake.
it could be.
Oh, it must be because none of my words with B are working. The B is fake.
Dude.
Beware of the. Oh, a hidden letter. Wow.
What? Now what?
Uh,
Hmm.
I think the B is fake.
Must be fake, because I. With your mother?
Ah.
I already told you where your mother went.
What the hell's happening now? What's with the G?
The B was the fake one, the G's the letter. You didn't beat
What?
that one. You gotta start over.
Oh, do y'all want to do again or not? Why do it did just ended it? Why?
Yeah, it just ends it, and then you have to try again.
So the overall is on the right. Me, you, Leggy, the three people on the panel,
Yeah.
and then you and Zephyr for this round. Well, that's pretty good. I think I'll. That was a good little tryout for
Yeah, it's
Oh,
today.
fun.
you stopped it?
Yeah,
Wait,
did you
what
want to
happened to
keep
my back?
going?
What happened to my background? Fuck. Hold on, I'm gonna reload.
It's fun, but there's not a lot of talking to it. There's not as much chatting.
No, it's just mindless
Staring at the screen.
wordplay.
Leggy, your head looks like one of those skulls. A living skull. Yeah, that was fun. I want to do more games.
Hmm.
I'm a gamer.
I really like the whiteboard. That's cool.
You could do another Pictionary. Leggy, you
Yeah.
didn't do a Pictionary yet. You could draw us something.
You want me to draw something?
Here, I'll
How?
put the link in the back.
How do I do it? Yeah, I can do stuff like this.
Oh, I just realized ChatGPT can give Pictionary clues, words, things.
Wife's almost home, so hurry up. I don't have time. Hurry up. Come on, Jim.
What do you do? What you doing?
My wife's
Yeah.
almost home.
What are you talking to?
What are we doing? All right, so I gotta draw something, huh?
Oh, well, share your screen for it's Pictionary, so share your whiteboard. And then
All right.
think of like a title or a phrase or a word or something. Or you can have the internet generate you one.
Oh, I got one already in my head.
All right.
The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants.
Nope.
All right, what is it? Is it a movie? Is it what?
The phrase.
All
A
right.
phrase?
Yep.
Eyes
All right.
without a face. Is it's probably a main phrase. Is where we gonna know? Oh God.
What the hell?
Man.
Just so
Okay.
everyone knows the sex that I'm referring to.
Right. It's a it's a man. It's a stick figure with a tail. Man overboard. Man against nature. Man.
Oh wait.
What the hell? Man, oh man.
Uh,
Man, oh man.
What is this dude doing? Let's see. Um, is that a bee? A bug? A
It
bird?
looks like a pile of shit or something.
Man.
Don't freak out if you see a pile of shit. Grass, mushrooms. No, it's
3 words altogether.
Okay.
Let me see. Is
this
there
is
any
a
guesses
movie.
in the?
It's a phrase.
A
Man, I'm
phrase.
not.
Nope.
I'm not sure what that thing you just draw is. It started looking like a bee
Oh,
or an insect. Now it looks like a
I don't know.
person, like Bart Simpson or somebody.
Oh, hold
Snake in the grass. I don't know.
on. Oh wait.
Fire.
Yes. Yeah.
Man
What?
on
What'd you?
fire.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's the.
Man on fire. It's a phrase, right? Man on fire.
Crazy.
Good.
It's funny.
All right. I'm out of here. My wife will be home in 2 minutes.
Okay. Take care. It's good hanging out.
Yep.
Yeah,
I mean,
man.
Mike, buddy, you can take my spot. This is fun. So you will enjoy this, Mike. All right. Have a good day,
Oh, y'all all
everybody.
have skulls. Here, I have a real skull I can put in the back. There you go.
Well, I just do what Leggy does.
Oh, okay.
He's the trendsetter, the influencer. You know.
Here we have a deer on fire. Hey, deer fire. That was fun. I really enjoyed today. I uh, I sucked at most of it, but it sure was fun playing around with it.
Yeah, I like the word game. I just wish there was something different. You know, like that seems to be the only one worth playing, and I want something cooler. You know, but because, like I said, it doesn't always catch what you type in. You know,
I
you
know I
could
had to
type
type
something in.
mine a few times. Some of it's I
Yeah,
think the fake letters.
and yes, sometimes, but sometimes it just doesn't catch what you typed in. Zephyr wants to come up.
We'll see. She may be. Oh, and well, hang on. I don't know if he wants me to say anything.
I'm just imagining some of the people that come to my panel trying to play Pictionary, and I'm laughing.
Oh,
I got some unique individuals.
here's one of them now. Hey, did you want to draw something?
I don't think it would work on my phone because every time I like go away from the StreamYard,
Oh,
it disconnects.
you're
So
working off the phone.
yeah, I'm gonna bow out on that. But I think that Leggy should have drawn the flames like more wavy instead of so straight up and down because it was like grass. But he's not here, so maybe somebody could tell him.
That's his artistic expression.
It was like grass. I was thinking snake in the grass or something, the way it looked, because I
Kind
had no idea.
of more watery, like wavy, like so it was like wavy wavies. It's gotta like have like the combination of pointy tips and pointy
Like
bottoms, but
this.
yeah. Like
So how are
flames.
you? What's up?
I'm good. I had ice cream this morning, and
Oh, what kind? What flavor?
oh, it was salted chocolate or salted caramel blizzard.
Oh,
It's really good.
it sounds really good.
It was a thankfully because last time I got like a medium and it was too much.
You got it from a
Where'd you
Dairy
get it?
Queen?
Yeah, well, I got it. Dan brought me one because he
Oh,
lets me.
But it was from Dairy Queen?
Yes, really good stuff there at Dairy Queen. That salted caramel blizzard is yum.
I don't like their
It's got these
bacon.
like little
there
bacon.
what?
I haven't had bacon there
Yeah.
yet.
Like if you get a hamburger there or a hot dog or some shit and it's got bacon on it, their bacon is weird. It's like
Oh,
it's
I
not
don't think I've
real
ever had
bacon.
one.
It's like
All I
that
ever
other
eat
bacon.
is their chicken, eating their chicken strips, and they're not bad.
Mm.
I haven't eaten at a Dairy Queen like even longer than a McDonald's. Even growing up, we never ate at Dairy Queens.
Yeah.
What's your favorite 31 flavors flavor?
I haven't been to a Baskin Robbins in that long too.
I've
Um,
never been to one.
you know what? Let me pull up their
Jack.
flavor. Do they still only have 31? There
Yeah,
was one. I didn't necessarily like the flavor, but there was a pink one that had bubble gum in it. But my
yeah.
favorites have always been things like butter pecan,
Oh
praline.
yeah, that's praline pecan is good. I like that.
Yeah. Let's
But
see,
my
31.
favorite flavors is daiquiri ice, and I don't know what flavor it is really. I mean, but it's like kind of this weird, kind of a cyan color, and it just is really good. It's more of a sherbet though than an ice cream.
All right, let me see
I don't
all
know.
of their
I like
flavors.
chocolate based ice cream, like especially like if it's a Ben and Jerry's where it has like fudge or something mixed in with the chocolate ice cream. I like that shit. Or like there used to be this stuff called Heavenly Hash. Do you remember that? It had
Yeah,
marshmallow in it allegedly and pieces of chocolate, like little chocolate chips. That was good.
I
They
like
have a
banana
peanut butter
ones
and
too.
chocolate.
Like Cookie Monkey is good, and like dulce de leche. Anything with caramel in it is good for me.
I
Especially,
don't do too well with the banana thing. I don't like them that much.
Ooh, nutty coconut looks good.
do you eat avocados? Do you get plenty of potassium?
Love avocados.
I've eaten them, but I don't seek them out.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of you gotta make sure you have enough potassium for your heart.
Honestly, I play a dangerous game with my life. I don't care. You know, like I just, if I die in my sleep, that's probably for the best.
Oh,
Yeah. I would like to stay alive for a while, but I'm not like so worried about it that I don't like, sometimes sit down and eat half a cheesecake,
That's the cheesecake. How do you do that? I hate that shit. Oh my god, it's like it's so
What's
weird
wrong with
tasting.
you?
The texture of it is
It's
weird.
sour. It has that sour taste to it.
Yeah, it's just awful. It's weird.
Yogurt either, and I love yogurt, so I'm a kind of like I really like bitter and sour more than any other and spicy, like hot things. I don't know. I'm more of
Well,
an
I
extreme.
like pickles. I like spicy stuff. I like all the things that are, like nasty, that'll hurt you and whatever. But I can't do cheesecake.
Mm. You've never had my cheesecake because it's not sour and it has chunks of cake in it.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
Ah,
Unless you put some fruit in it and it takes the edge off of that tang.
yeah.
And it's because it has lemon in it too. I think that's why a lot of people like get that sourness to it. But you
I
don't have
don't
to
know.
overdo the.
It's just the texture of it too. It's like a fleshy kind of texture in a way.
Yeah. Do you like chocolate mousse? Because
Oh yeah, I
that
love that shit.
yeah, I can make a killer French silk cake or French silk pie. I'm a dessert person. I like can make all the candies, brittle, chocolate cherries, dipped chocolates, pecan turtles.
I never eat dessert or cookies or any kind of sweets, but if there was chocolate mousse in front of me and it was legit, I would eat that in a heartbeat. You know.
I had some gifted to me for Christmas. They were like these little glass dishes, and they had like a little foil lid that had a little package of like, it was like little balls of chocolate, little tiny little itty bitty chocolate, and you like pour it on top. And it was the best chocolate mousse I've ever had. It was so good. I don't even, I wish I knew where they got it. I have to ask.
Yeah, it's that sounds cool, man. But I remember what was it for high school home ec? They brought us into this classroom and they made us create a meringue for like lemon meringue pie or whatever.
That's fun.
That was the big experiment.
With
Squirting egg white.
the egg whites.
Yeah.
I can do a decent meringue. I like
I
lime.
hate lemon flavor. It tastes nothing like real lemon.
Yeah.
I like key lime
Tastes
better.
like the rinds, doesn't it? Tastes more like lemon rinds.
It tastes fake. It tastes synthetic. It doesn't taste like any flavor found in nature.
Yeah, like the lemon jello. That stuff is not good.
Oh,
So
gross. I can
jello
eat a lemon head, I guess, because they're sour enough. I remember they had those lemon cookies. They were like,
with powdered sugar.
yeah, with the powder on top, but they had a lemon flavor to them, but they looked like regular cookies.
Those are pretty good. My mom made bizcochitos and pecan chocolate chip cookies for Christmas. They were pretty good. I'm not a huge peanut fan, but I like the peanut brittle. Although I did like the cashew brittle pretty good too. But you can't
Oh
get
yeah, that's good shit.
yeah, if it's made right, if it's not the kind that like sticks your teeth together, because I don't like
Right.
the chew stuff or the like really flaky kind. I like the crunchy kind. It's like
Yeah,
crispy and
yeah.
immediately.
They used to have this red kind. It was like pink
Yeah, I don't like that kind.
or
Ugh,
red with the
not
peanuts in
good.
it.
That's got like the beetles in it, the beetle pulverized beetle shells,
What?
What?
the red dye. Yeah. Mm,
Oh, that was made from beetles?
yes,
Oh,
it is
Lord.
pulverized beetle wings or shells or whatever. It's like
Who
their
would
whole.
do that to kids?
I don't know.
Somebody.
Probably people that put like beaver beaver juice, and like it's like their
Beaver juice? What is beaver juice?
like some the juice. It's freaking crazy. Look it up, seriously.
I am. Let's see.
It's
I need to turn my safe search off.
it's like a some sort of a gland juice or
Oh, like the
something.
musk or something from the beaver.
Yeah, it's not good. It's funny because like there's all sorts of things that we don't know in our
Oh
products.
my god, it's called beaver butt juice.
Yes.
It's castoreum. It's a beaver gland derived flavor
Yeah.
ingredient. It's rare and controversial,
Yeah.
and it comes from the beaver's butt.
Do you have a cat, Jeff, or
No.
have you ever had a cat?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I found this out because I have a cat, and somebody bought me some CK1, and like all the Tommy Hilfiger perfumes or whatever, they have this like ingredient that is made from some cat in India, and they like torture the cat and get the excretion of it. It's kind of like they do with those toads, you know? And yeah, it's really sick how they get it, but it drives cats crazy to the point where they used it as a lure for snow leopards on those like wildlife cameras, and they actually got the snow leopards to come and be on camera.
It comes
It's
from the
crazy.
castor sacs of mature beavers used in combination with urine to scent mark their territory.
Yeah, it's not good. They put it in your food. It's like that's so wrong for them not to tell people. Again, I guess I've had people eat elk and oryx before without telling them because they were like they thought it was gross, but they liked beef. So I was like, that's just ridiculous. It's the same kind of thing. Eating an animal is eating an
They
animal.
also use it in cigarettes.
Yeah. Another reason to stop smoking, folks.
And Sweden uses it in, they have a flavor of schnapps called beaver shout that they use it in.
Ew. There's so many different cool liquors that you can get. I don't think I'd ever try that one. Although I do like putting liquors in desserts sometimes. I'd make a killer custard with a like liquor infused fruit sauce. Blackberry brandy usually.
Oh my god, it says the location of the beaver's castor sacs means that castoreum also includes a mixture of anal gland secretions and urine as well.
Yeah. Do they list what they put it in?
Perfume making industry and food additives, primarily as enhancers of vanilla, strawberry, and raspberry flavorings, found in products such as iced tea, ice cream, gelatin, candy, fruit flavored drinks, and yogurt.
I knew there was a reason why I didn't like strawberry flavoring.
But they say the use of castoreum in common food products today is exceedingly rare, in part because collecting this substance is difficult and therefore expensive. So they probably don't, like poor people
Yeah, so
probably don't
probably
get
only in the
castoreum
high-end
in their
stuff.
stuff.
Yeah, that's just wrong, though. And again, I guess they've always used like the ambergris from whales and things like that. It's like there's other ways to like synthesize things that are more natural, like with mushrooms. I'm gonna go squeeze my beaver. Is that what he said?
No, the
It's my
rich.
beaver
That's the
dad.
rich people can have that. I'm not interested in.
Yeah. Horrible. So I think today I have to make an hour video because I'm getting typed by one of Hank's friends, or yeah, I
Oh, is
think
it
it's Hank's friend.
astrotype?
No, it's like I don't know what it's
Trauma
called,
type?
but no, I think it's a personality typing of some sort. But I I basically filled out the whole form for it, and they do like it's like you have to make a video that's like at least an hour long, and then send it to them, and they give you like topics for what you should talk about. I've kind of been putting it off for a few days, mostly because I'm trying to figure out how to do it without totally filling my memory up. I guess I could do it on my StreamYard and then just make it a private video or a unlisted video.
What format does it have to be in?
It's gotta have like a link to the video somewhere, so you could put it like any kind of
Oh,
video file, and I upload it to the cloud somehow and make it linkable.
you could do. You can
But
make it a private video on YouTube or unlisted and just send a link.
yeah, I could probably do that. That way it doesn't save on my phone because my phone memory is really low. I'm about to get a new phone, but I'm waiting for a check to clear, so. Because I dropped mine the other day and just totally shattered the corner of the phone with the clock. So we're time on it. It's like I can't even read what time it is. Totally shattered the corner. It's pretty bad. But I had this phone for over a year, so.
And so they just tell you what your personality is based on an hour of video.
Yeah, and I've interacted with them. It's like Benjamin Sadiq or something like Benjamin.
Oh yeah, okay. I tried to go to this panel once.
Yeah, they're cool. I like them. They're then again, I like pretty much everybody. I mean, I don't know. I get along with everybody. I'm pretty tolerant.
I guess that helps.
Yeah. Well, and I think that everybody's got something valuable that they know that I don't, so I kind of just approach it with that.
Yeah, I didn't know about the beaver stuff.
Yeah, not that that's all that, but yeah, my head is filled with sort of facts like that for whatever reason. It's like, did you know that dork is actually a whale penis?
What is?
Dork. When you call somebody a dork, you're calling them a whale penis.
Oh no, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I actually knew that one.
Yeah, and you can get a knife made out of a dork.
I'd rather just call them a whale penis if that's the case.
I do that sometimes to say you're a fucking whale penis. But yeah, it makes when it's fossilized, it makes really beautiful material to make your knife handles out of. In case you didn't know that, it's a whale baculum, fossilized. I learned that because I'm a rock hound and I like collect fossils.
Do they have fossilized whale penises?
Yes, like I said, you can make knife handles out of it. It's really beautiful. It would be really cool to have one that had a dork handle and an obsidian blade.
I tried to Google for it, and I'm getting a whole lot of pornography,
Oh,
including a man apparently trying to get it on with a dolphin. Let me browse away from here. Yeah, I've learned. I love to learn, and I learned a lot today. I think I'm done with learning for the day.
Okay. The word you want to use if you're going to search it is baculum, because they don't use that in porn.
Okay, baculum.
Fossilized. Yeah. And an image search probably.
We'll try this one more time. Oof. Oh, okay. Yeah, now it's showing me a knife handle.
Pretty cool. I have a lot of sea creature fossils that I found because this whole area that I live in used to be like an inland sea, like very shallow. And so there's like shark's teeth and,
Oh,
shells.
wow. In New Mexico?
Yeah, and like ammonites. There's lots of ammonites, which are like the little spirals. Like, they look like little nautiluses. Lots of mussels, mussel shells. Like there's big, huge boulders full of like they're made of like nothing but like smushed mussel fossils.
Well,
I like that shirt, the outer shirt you have. That's a nice,
this
cool.
thing?
Yeah, the plaid. It's like
Oh.
I like the. It's very colorful.
Thank you. I rarely get compliments on it, so thank you.
Mm. Plaid is like one of my favorites. And tartans.
Yeah, you see a lot of plaid up here. You can't. Plaid fits in with almost anything
It
in this
does.
part of the country.
I have a lot of red and black and white plaids.
And I'm from the grunge era, so I've been wearing plaid
Me too. My
pretty
mom
much
was,
ever since I was a older teenager, young adult.
yeah. My mom was telling that I went up to her house after Christmas and for a few days, and she had this friend of hers that's like in her 70s, and she complimented me on my outfit, and she goes, "Yes, Becky's always been very unique dresser. When she was in high school, she used to wear combat boots and flannel shirts with
Oh.
skirts and graphic tees. Like that was my style for sure. But I love they were actually biker boots, not combat boots, but whatever. She didn't know the difference.
Oh.
They had heels and a buckle, so like on the front, so they were definitely biker boots. But I had a leather jacket, like it was a really nice one too. It's like water buffalo leather. I got it from Santa Claus. Santa Claus was very cool. He also gave me Marilyn Manson albums.
Oh. Santa brought you Marilyn Manson.
Yeah, Antichrist Superstar. It was pretty awesome. My mom, of course, was Santa Claus. So where did Satoshi go? Disappeared.
I don't know. Are you there? Is that cool? Fun? Wow, thank you. Y'all are making me feel real good. Because usually I get told that these looks like my grandma's old curtains. I
Oh,
think they're Eddie Bauer. Let me see. St. John's Bay. Oh,
that T-shirt
yeah.
is
This is J.C. Penney's, my other favorite store. Eddie Bauer and J.C. Penney's is where I get most of my clothes. So I wear them proudly. I love pennies.
Yeah, I used to buy lots of clothes from JCPenney's. I'm
They
not
had the
really,
Arizona
I don't,
jeans,
yeah, I
St.
don't
John's
really go.
Bay.
I only shop at Goodwill now because I found out that the Goodwill like has all the brand name stuff, some of it with tags at this certain location here in Albuquerque. I guess people just buy clothes and never wear them, and then they donate them. So I was like, oh, I like me a discount.
Wait, they buy them and not wear them and just give them away?
Like you'll find clothes.
Why?
Well, I don't know. I don't know these people that I mean, you don't get a chance to talk to them, but I find things at this Goodwill all the time that still have the tags on them.
The Goodwill people tell you this? Like, oh yeah, these got dropped off and they never wore them?
Well, you could just tell that they haven't been worn because they still have the tags on them, and it's like, what the hell? I don't know what. But yeah, I got like an aerial postal dress for like $5 the other day, and so if I buy brand name stuff, it's always at the Goodwill. I even found like a Versace scarf for like $5, and that's ridiculous because they're that like it was like $140 scarf whenever I looked it up. And it still had the tag.
Oh,
Not the
dang, for $5.
Yep. It's because all their scarves are $5 at Goodwill.
Oh, that's cool, IG. My 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 grandmother, my dad's mom, was worked at JCPenney's too. I think she retired from there. That's back when you could like get hired really young as a sales girl and stay with the company your whole life and retire from it.
Yeah, that's what my ex's birth mom. She worked at Macy's doing the same kind of thing. She got hired there when she was younger.
I never heard of Boscov's. Let's see.
Me neither.
American Regional Department Store. No, it doesn't look like we do. We have a big where I am. We have a big set of outlet malls. It's huge. It's like almost bigger than a actual mall. And that's where they have the Eddie Bauer store. They have the Gap. They have like every brand you could think of. The outlet version. I hate shopping though. Absolutely, it wears me. It wears out my brain. I hate
Yeah,
looking at things over and over and over all day long.
I don't mind going to the thrift shops though, or like yard sales.
That's what my friend told me. I have a friend who's a fashion designer and a stylist, and he was helping me dress, and he said to not waste my money on a bunch of store-bought clothes to start at the thrift stores. And when you're trying to develop your own style, to do the thrift store first until you find what fits, you find what you like, you find what fabrics and stuff you want for your look. Then you can start buying like new
Yeah,
clothes from an actual store. But that's not
or
a good way to start learning fashion.
or you could just buy the stuff at the thrift store, and then if you need like a certain thing to pull it all together, then you can buy like I buy my shoes brand new usually, because
Oh
usually
yeah, I would not want to wear somebody
I,
else's shoes. I don't even like putting on roller skates or bowling shoes.
yes, I bought used shoes, but they don't ever last as long because usually there's something that you like. There's a reason why they were not just like somebody's favorite pair of shoes. But then again, I also get a lot of clothes because Dan works at a laundromat, and there's a lot of people that just abandon their clothes. Like, so he knows my style, and he'll just bring home stuff. And even if it's not my size, I have a sewing machine, so I have way too many clothes. I'm a,
Uh,
I'm a
most of
scarf
it's
addict.
repurposed or
Yeah, well, I'm a
thrift.
scarf addict. I love scarves. I have so many scarves and long skirts. Like, that's probably the things I have the most of.
Well, that's good. It sounds like you know your style, at
Yeah,
least.
like gypsy punk.
Gypsy punk.
I'm a rainbow goth or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty much still punk too, but because I'm looking for work and I'm trying to establish myself in society, I went ahead and made the compromise and got normal clothes. But
Yeah, or another.
if I had like unlimited money or a wardrobe budget or something, I would definitely dress more punk.
I do like one kind of local style here where they take like t-shirts and like cut them up and like braid them. There's like different ways that you can cut strips and then you like pull them through to where they look like they're braided. And so I like fitted t-shirts, but I like buy like a t-shirt that's too big or a t-shirt dress like because you could make it like fitted to you by how you do the cuts and braid them. T-shirt's good because it doesn't fray when you cut it.
Trousers and jumpers. What are jumpers?
Like a shirt thing, like a pullover.
I think of like a jumpsuit, like overalls. Jumper shirts. Let's see.
Yeah, it's a British term, I think.
Oh, what's the American version?
It's like a hoodies or sweatshirts or like something like that.
They look like a sweater, kind of. What,
Yeah.
at least what the internet's showing me. Is that a jumper?
Hmm. It's like a pullover.
Well,
Jumper sounds like baby clothes to me, but that's okay.
oh, a sweatshirt. Okay. What is predictable being like? You know what you're gonna find before you go. I never do, but I never go enough either. So it's always a surprise for me. I don't if I can wear new clothes over somebody else's used clothes, I'm gonna usually go for that every time. I think that's what keeps me out of thrift store. My whole life was hand me down, dollar store and hand me down, hand me ups usually from my younger brothers when they outgrew their stuff. It would end up with me, and so I'm used to wearing other people's clothes my whole life. So I think as an adult, I just like knowing that I can get new clothes that are just mine. Although the best clothes growing up, I don't know how this happened, but my favorite clothes were the ones I would like borrow from a friend, and they would look better on me than anything that I owned or got from a store. And I don't know why that was, but every single time I borrowed something from a friend, that was always the best looking item out of everything I owned. And so I had a little collection of like borrowed clothes that people just let me keep.
I've been going through a fishnet phase, and it's kind of like that's something you have to kind of buy new because fishnets don't usually end up. They're not like something that ends up on a hanger somewhere being resold because they kind
Ooh,
of,
I know. I can't imagine
even though they
used
are very
fishnets.
durable, like I've got like whole outfits that are made of fishnets and you can layer them over each other. Like it's pretty cool. I like it.
Like the Madonna look.
Sort of, I guess. Although probably a little bit more, I don't know, I guess more edgy, more punky. I like also like rivets, like spikes and rivets and things like that too. So that's kind of like punk goth sort of.
So much of that look came from Malcolm McLaren and Vivian Westwood's little shops in London, which
I paint,
he took some of that from the New York punk scene, like Richard Hell.
yeah, I like to paint my denims too, like, because I get paint on all my clothes, like pretty much eventually, because I paint and I don't even pay attention to what I'm wearing, and I'm a little bit messy when I paint. So if I get like some paint that I can't get off, I'll just like turn it into like some abstract artwork on my pants or whatever.
Oh,
So I have like a few pairs of painted jeans that are like painted like all over. I mostly paint them like while they're on or draw, and then I do fine lines with like paint markers or fabric markers. Pretty cool.
Oh wow. Leather trousers. Yeah, I've never worn them either.
Me neither.
They
Don't
a lot
be
of gay guys had them, especially at the leather bars, and they would sell them in the leather shops. But I never. They were very expensive, first of all, and I never liked the material. It was very heavy. It was not a comfortable material to wear. I did have a pair of leather shorts that I like mid thigh kind of.
Yeah, I have a few leather skirts, but I don't do leather pants because they just don't breathe, and I don't want a sweaty pocha. It's not comfortable. And I can't do like fake leather really. My skin eats it. It
Oh,
yeah, and or it reacts to my skin and I get like eczema. So, because I have a latex allergy, so if there's any rubber in it whatsoever, like vinyl stuff, I don't do well with. Elastic, I don't do well with.
oh, oh, cool, Bart. You were one of the originals. You were. That's when the punk was actual punk and not derivative. Was this in the U.S. like Ramones punk or New York City punk? And then it like migrated to L.A. and then hardcore took off from there, like D.C., Minneapolis, those places.
I like a lot of hip hop style too, though. Really, I mean, like I have some like puffy jackets and fluffy, furry, fake fur
I don't know,
stuff.
for some reason I can't visualize you as much in the hip hop.
Oh my God, you would not believe that's mostly what I listen to music-wise, actually. And like not even American hip hop. I listen to a lot of foreign hip hop.
Would I
It's
even
like,
know any of them?
no,
No.
probably not. It's like I like some Polish stuff, mostly Romanian. Romanian is really good hip hop. There's some Russian stuff that's pretty good. But yeah, but like stuff that Machine Lies listens to, I'm familiar with almost everything that he plays. And I
Oh,
like even some of the like Suicide Boys and things like that, horrorcore or whatever.
hmm.
But I also listen to quite a bit. It's like as far as like punk stuff goes, I like old school X-Ray Specs, like some Ramones and stuff like that.
Misfits. What about the
Misfits,
Misfits?
Misfits, Skinny Puppy.
No, the Sex Pistols were not the OG punks. That was the
Not
Ramon. They took that from the Ramones.
it's like saying
Malcolm
Ramones.
McLaren was hanging out in New York, and he brought all that back to the UK.
Gigi Allen, that's hardcore.
Oh yeah, I was when I lived in Austin. Gigi Allen performed next door to one of the gay bars that we were hanging out in,
I
and
would never.
there was all
Yeah,
this smoke coming out of the bar, and the cops came, and we had to. They made everybody leave the bar. Gigi Allen had set off some smoke bomb or something as part of his performance, and the building shared a wall, so we had to leave our gay bar while they cleared out his performance.
yeah, I
I
would
didn't even
not
know
go
who he
to it.
was. I just know that we had to quit our clubbing because of him.
Yeah, as a female, it's probably not a great idea, or probably a male too. It's not a great idea. It wouldn't have been a great idea to go to a Gigi Allen concert because, like, there's a lot of, you know,
He'll
uh,
take a shit right on the stage and fling it at you. That's how bad it is,
like
or
I
was.
said, if we're gonna exchange bodily fluids, that's generally something I avoid. Is like, unconsented bodily fluid exchanges of any kind, whether from across the room or on stage or anything.
Yeah, I tried to avoid that at the gay bars too.
consent if you go to a Gigi Allen concert, but you should know that you're gonna get some somebody else's bodily fluids all over you, if not in you.
Oh wow, what year, Bart? Because 77 punk was really only about a year, like actual true punk, and then
I was born
people
in
started
70s.
developing it into post punk and stuff like that, hardcore. But really, 1977 was the big year for most punk, particularly British punk. Punk.
Yeah, that was the year I was born.
Yeah, the Ramones were the ones that pioneered punk. They were the ones that stripped it down to those simple chords that all the other kids could play. They didn't have to be technically accomplished musicians to do like the prog scene and the classic rock scene, which was dominating at the time. And the Ramones are really old. The Ramones are old. They weren't kids at the time. They were the same age as the Beatles and the Rolling Stones and all those people. So it wasn't even like it was a new generation. That was the original generation of rockers that developed punk, and then the young people picked it up from there. Grunge was the very tail end of all of that. That was like the last little gasp of punk, and then it hit the mainstream. And
Yeah, that was high school for me. I was really, I mean, we listened to Nirvana before they were really popular because I had like much music and like other things. So I listened to like Afghan Wigs and like things like that because I think those are like, those were kind of precursors to grunge a bit.
what was the precursors?
Like Afghan Wigs and like Revolting Cocks and things like that. You know, it's like,
Yeah, they had a whole underground scene. It mostly post hardcore. It went from hardcore and then post hardcore, and things genres started to develop and split off from there, and eventually into grunge.
yeah, they're
Yeah, Patti Smith. I know Patti Smith.
yeah. I actually Patti Smith was in New York at the same time as this photographer that I work for, and she stole Patti Smith's boyfriend. Like, it's pretty funny
Which
story.
boyfriend?
I don't know. I'm not sure, but she used to hang out with who was that guy? He was a New York gay. He was photographer. Uh,
Robert
um,
Mapplethorpe.
yes,
Mapplethorpe.
Mapplethorpe. She photoed Robert Mapplethorpe. She actually was good friends with him, and like she hung out at like Studio 54, and she actually was a coke dealer at the time, and she like knew Andy Warhol and all sorts of stuff. It's pretty crazy stories she's got.
SLC Punk. I remember that movie
Oh yeah, that was a great movie. That and the Salt and Sea, that was a really good movie too.
with Val Kilmer.
Yeah, I liked him back then a lot. Like he did that other movie. What was the other movie? It was really good. Where he was. Oh gosh, what? If I quit thinking about it, my file guy will pop it out. So I'm just gonna move on. It'll pop out.
Oh.
I forget what it was called. Damn it! I gotta quit thinking about it. It's the hardest part. The Saint. Thank you, file guy. That was a really good movie.
Oh, Bart, was that that was just before London Calling, because that came out at the end of '79.
What was that movie? Three Rooms. That was a good movie too. That same
Four
kind of-
Rooms
Four Rooms. Yeah.
with Tim Roth.
I saw that at a bar in New Orleans. Actually, they were playing it on the television set.
Yeah. Oh, I love Iggy. I just watched. There's a documentary on Max's Kansas City. I think it's free on YouTube. In fact, let me see if I can find it. And it talks about the little. Hang on.
Gypsy punk is cool too, like Gogo Bordello, if you like indie pop.
Like a lot of the punk scene, a lot of the CBGB scene was like Max's Kansas City was the original, and it was back in the Andy Warhol and the Lou Reed days, and then after that the New York Dolls and all those people, and then CBGB started up in 1974. But before that, there was a whole scene at Max's Kansas City with those people, and they were the original. They were laying the foundation for the punk scene that developed out of CBGBs.
I wish we had a scene in Albuquerque. There's really not much of a scene. I think it's like it could be a scene, but it's just so disorganized. Like we have bar crawls and things like that, but it's like there used to be a lot better like live bands here.
There you go. There's the link to the documentary. Yeah, the only scene out of New Mexico I know is the Meow Wolf people,
Oh yeah,
and that
that's
was more of the art scene than a music scene, but it was one of the best ones.
oh yeah. You know what's really funny is I mentioned Gogo Bordello, and whenever I went to Meow Wolf the first time, the main guy from Gogo Bordello, like posted the day after he went there the day after I went, and I was like, oh my god, I missed it, because he's really cool. I like that. Gogo Bordello is awesome. They're like gypsy punk music. The balkanization of Americanization. And it's cool because like a lot of the European hip hop stuff is like going through like it's like almost new like it was back whenever hip hop first started. It's got a lot of the similar sound because they're just starting out on doing their hip hop, but it's also like modern because they have the like memification of everything, you know, like we do now.
I don't think he designed the cans, but he did that print based on the cans because I
Yeah.
think the cans came first.
He was interesting, but I don't think he was really that great of an artist. He was really good at pushing the boundaries of craft, I think, though. Because it was like kind of, it's like the cut up, like William S. Burroughs, sort of. He's doing cut up art, sort of. Using pop icons and advertising designs.
Really? And what do you think about Sandinista? Um,
Good.
London Calling's okay. It's I have to be in the mood and it has to grow on me. It's not one I can immediately jump into because it's not really punk. There's so many other musical styles on there. I mean, it's a good album of music, but I wouldn't categorize it with punk. I would like if I worked at a record store, I wouldn't put it in the punk section. I would just put it in the rock pop section.
Have you heard of The Faint, Jeff? They're from Omaha, Nebraska.
I don't think so.
It's hard to find them because their name, like a lot of things come up when you type in The Faint.
Is it AINT or EINT?
AINT. And if you put band after it, you'll find more of their music. But they're post-punk, electro sort of influenced. And I think that's something you might like, actually.
Yeah, I do like post-punk. Because punk, I mean, punk only takes you so far.
Well, and they have a really interesting. Their bass is like very interesting. It's like it's I call it buzzy bass. It's like very deep, like visceral bass in some of their songs. Like there's one called Hospital, and it's like it's almost melodic. It's almost part of the melody rather than the bass line. You know, it's really interesting use of sound. I think and it's really great on a really good sound system. You can feel it, like feel the music. But there's like some very punky tracks that they do too, like off of the Blank Wave Arcade album. They have one that's like Revolution 101, which is like very like like angry, sort of frantic sound.
Are they're modern or back in the day?
Yeah, it's modern, and they've moved on. They now have a few other projects. They're like Depressed Buttons is another project of theirs, and so they've gotten a little bit. They separate that from their main because it's a little bit more electronica. I saw them in concert in 2009, I think. They were really good. It was one of the best concerts I've ever gone to. It was the night before Halloween, and I like ended up hanging out with the midget Marie Antoinette all night. It was like so cool. She was
That was her
awesome.
name.
No, she was dressed up as Marie Antoinette, but she was also
Oh,
yeah. That was back when we used to do like my friend Andy. He's German. He was German. He's no longer with us, but he was really into salsa music, but he was also into like punk rock and things like that. He liked Bad Brains, and
oh
I don't
yeah.
yeah, I
Okay.
don't really like Bad Brains that much, but he had good taste in music, and he would always we would do a Dia de las Muertas party every year at his house. But that one year we went and we did the concert the night before, so we like basically did like marathon. We like did the concert, then we went right back to his house and we slept there. We got up the next morning, did all the decorations and party prep, and then we did the salsa party, and that was a really great year that year. I like Speak English or Die, or SEOD. That's good punk as far as I'm concerned. It's kind of metalish. I don't know. He introduced me to them, and then Yeah Yeah Yeahs, and there's a few.
Oh yeah, I've heard of them. Yeah,
It's
I prefer hardcore to punk. It's faster and harder, and post-hardcore particularly, like early, mid '80s ish.
like who? Like give me an example or two.
Black Flag,
Oh, yeah, Black
Husker
Flag's good.
Du, the Butthole Surfers.
Mm-hmm. All
Um,
of those.
Sonic Youth's my favorite. Although
Sonic Youth, excellent, and Helmet. Helmet was good.
Pixies. Yeah, Helmet, and Sonic Youth and Swans all got started as part of the no wave scene in New York, mainly under the influence of Glenn Branca, probably my
Mhm.
favorite musician.
Yeah, I like all of those as well. But like I said, I listen to a lot of hip hop, and I like a lot of Canadian hip hop. There's like some really good stuff, and from the Midwest area, there's a lot of good, like Aesop Rock, and I like Buck 65 from Canada. He's from Toronto, but he does a lot of like crossover stuff too. There's like French. You can tell because he's Quebecois. He's got some French influence in some of his music, and he sounds almost like there's some country music influence in his music as well, which surprisingly I like because I don't like country except for old country. Like I used to listen to Tom T. Hall and Charlie Pride and
Oh, I
Tammy
remember
Wynette.
Charlie Pride. My mom would listen to him.
Yeah, Amarillo by morning. Yeah, I know all the. I don't know. I have a very vast musical compendium. Goes back all the way back to like Paganini. I like more of the like Russian classical stuff, or like Austrian or Prussian sort of sound as far as the classical music goes. I'm not much into Bach or Brahms. More like Wagner.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, actually, the Faint actually uses a violin line from Paganini in one of their tracks. And I didn't even realize that was them until I started listening to Paganini, and I was like, oh my god, that's that violin. Because I love violin. String music is probably my favorite
Oh.
as far as instruments. I like violin. My grandpa played the fiddle, so.
Do you play anything?
I do, but no instrument very well. I sight read and I sing, and I could play a few instruments sort of well. The best instrument I can play though is the clarinet. So I actually play that pretty good.
Were you in band or anything?
Yes, I was. In 6th grade, I was in band, and I went from like not knowing how to play to like first chair in like 1 year. But then there was the girl that was first chair. Her name was Michelle, and she hit me with my own clarinet case. And then I decided I didn't want to be in band
Why
anymore.
would she do that?
Because I don't know, because she's mad because she'd been in band for a few years, and I took over her position, I guess.
Wow, what a little brat.
She stayed in band though, and she ended up being really good. I was in band for. I went back in high school for a while, but only because I got accepted for a special choir that was like it was called Spectrum. That's funny, right? Because that was before it was like Spectrum was autistic spectrum.
Oh, that's back when Spectrum was cool.
Yeah, Spectrum was like, oh yeah, it's like Prism. Yeah, well, Prism was the choir program. They called it Prism, and then Spectrum was the special group. But my dad wouldn't let me be part of it because they were going to take a trip to Disneyland and perform. Even though they had a like chaperone for every kid, my dad was like such a control freak. He wouldn't let me go, so I couldn't be in the group, unfortunately.
Oh, he didn't want you to go to Disneyland?
He didn't want me to go anywhere and do anything. That it was just except for I could go to church with my friends if I wanted to, and that was it. So I snuck out a lot. And I ditched a lot of class.
Other than staying home completely and not showing up at school to begin with, how do people get away with ditching class? I never, like they
I
find, like, because if you're at school, how do the teachers, they're going to notice you're not in that one class? Or maybe not in
Well,
high school.
well, they had a computerized system that basically called your house whenever I was in high school if you missed any class or anything. So I usually just caught that phone call, and then of course the classes that I ditched pretty regularly, my grades went down, and I would get in trouble for that. So I started forging my report cards, and I didn't get busted until the end of the year.
Your
Which I have.
parents never asked, hey, we haven't seen a report card in a while.
No, I forged them, so they saw a report card. It just wasn't the actual.
Oh, you
report card.
forged it for your parents, not for the school.
Yeah, no, yeah. And eventually I did get
Well, how did
busted.
the school not catch you? Did you create a whole second report card that was fake, or did you just
It was like
write fake stuff on the official report card?
the guy that was my boyfriend in school at the time. It was my freshman year that I did this. He was a like teacher's assistant for the office, and so he had access to the printer paper that they used for it was like a special like printer paper. So he would take that and he would use it on his with his printer, and he forged my report cards for me. So
Okay, wait, you were
yeah,
dating a teacher's assistant as a freshman?
yeah. Well, he was a freshman too, and I was actually a computer. That were perfect. I did 0 hour teacher's assistant for that class too. So I made
Yeah.
straight A's in classes that I liked and that I didn't want to ditch, but I ditched the classes that I didn't like, and I forged the grades just for my parents. I still my grade point average still went up, so I didn't think it was that big of a deal. But my dad thought otherwise. I was grounded like my entire sophomore
But
year.
they eventually caught you.
Yeah, my mom went to all of my finals with me the end of my freshman year, and I was taken out of school for the last 2 weeks. Like they wouldn't let me go because they were afraid I was gonna run away or something.
How what was your how did they catch you?
Uh, I think my mom actually caught a phone call, and then or either that or the dean called my mom like aside, because she noticed that there was no intervention on my absences. So she knew something was up. She had been an English teacher of mine as well, and I think what I did is I screwed up and I ditched my English class once because the
So
dean was like,
you would just skip individual classes throughout the
yeah,
day, not
yeah,
entire days of school.
yeah. I had a friend that his dad was out of town working a lot, and he had like his house was like about a block from the school, so we would go hang out over there at his house, and yeah, I would mostly just ditch PE class every time, and then like home ec, I dropped that class. They wouldn't let me drop a class, so I just enrolled in the class that I didn't want to go to, and I never showed up. I never went to that class once.
So did you fail? You got Fs?
Yeah, I got an F in that class.
Oh, okay.
But like I said, my grade point average still went up, so it was a big deal. I don't understand. It's funny though, because I was like an honor roll student all all the way up until I got to high school, and then I was kind of a bad girl. We were like a group that were like made that my group in school was the rejects from all the other groups, basically.
Oh
Whoever
yeah.
nobody hang out with, that's who we were hanging out with.
Yeah. That would
It
have
was
been mine too if we had had enough of them. I was pretty
yeah,
much the only one.
yeah. NPC showed a video of the Riot Girls, and I think they were kind of like they were the younger generation than us, but they kind of like had the same kind of vibe, and I was like, oh yeah, they were definitely like our our uh, our progeny, sort of.
I'm still in that group, I think.
Me too. Although I think I don't know, I developed my own unique style since then. It's kind of like I don't know, like I said, it's kind of like rainbow goth or hippie or gypsy punkish sort of.
Yeah, Generation X came up with all that. All the little kids walking around today, the mall punks and mall goths. That's because of us.
I actually worked at Sam Goody too, the mall.
Oh, I'm so jealous. You got to work at a music store. That was my dream job growing up. The most I could manage, I got a few months at Walden Books, but I could never find a record store to hire me. And I don't know why. I probably knew more about music than anybody in my town.
Yeah, I think that's what got me in is because I had like such like vast knowledge of different kinds of music that they like had to hire me.
I think I was too
'Cause-
weird. They didn't care about the knowledge. They cared about what the customers were going to think if they came in and saw somebody like me. But like somebody like me should fit perfectly in a record store. The
Yeah, totally.
bookstore took me.
Yeah, I could see myself working in a bookstore as well.
It's fun. I got to shop all day while I worked.
Yeah, I love that about the record store because I could get like the first or pre-release or the promo music and stuff.
Oh yeah,
So
that's back when you had to buy your music and wait for it
yeah,
to come out.
it was like
It was a
five
big
years
thing. It was
before.
an event.
Yeah, it was 5 years before Napster came out that I was working at the record store. So, but I had like 3 jobs at that time too. I was working at like a it was a thrift store that was also a like a sort of like a animal shelter. So I worked there 1 hour a day. I would go and feed and clean the pens of the animals early in the morning, and then I was working at 7-Eleven and Sam Goody. I like opened Sam Goody and closed uh, the 7-Eleven closing shift.
And you know the Go-Go's were punk too. They started as part of that LA punk scene.
Yeah, I like
They
Pat
played at the
Bennett.
same clubs as Black Flag. Everything. In fact, what's his name? Darby Crash. Who was the group he was in? Belinda Carlisle. I think she drummed for one performance for them, and she was going to be in it, and she was sick the day that they needed her, so they got somebody else. But she came this close to being in a hardcore band.
Blondie was cool, and she helped like hip hop get on
Yeah,
the.
the Germs.
I like
Yeah, she
watched
did with Rapture. She was one of the first. Um,
crossovers with the hip hop.
like,
Yeah.
like that was one of the first rap songs
Have you ever seen that public
ever.
access show that they did in New York? Uh, that had all the famous people. Like Blondie was like she was a regular host on it.
Which show?
I don't remember what it was called, but it was like a public access show with Blondie that was in New York and
Oh no,
the
we
I
probably didn't
guess it's
have
the
that.
late. Yeah, well, I mean, you can see it on YouTube now. I didn't know about it until like probably 20 years ago. It's pretty cool though. They had like they had rented a whole building and they would borrow the library's cameras and stuff because you did that for public access television. Yeah, Blondie's like I think she's like supernatural or something because she still looks really great too.
But I can hear it in their new album. Her voice, you could hear her voice, the strain. Like sounds, she sounds old on the latest. I tried to listen to a few of the newer Blondie albums, and I could definitely hear it in her voice.
Did you like the Pixies?
Yeah, they were my favorite bands. The Pixies and Sonic Youth.
Yeah, Sonic Youth is really good. I like was it Wilmer's Rainbow? That was a really great band, a really great album.
Which one?
Is it Wilma's Rainbow or what was it called?
Let's see. That might be somebody else.
No,
Wilma's.
Sonic Youth, but
That's Helmet. Wilma's Rainbow's Helmet.
okay.
But
There was another
they
one.
came from the same scene.
Yeah, there was another Sonic Youth album. There was I Know Dirty. That was the one that I
Oh, I
first got.
hated Dirty. That's when
Yeah, that wasn't that great.
that was the
But
worst. That's when they were good right up into Dirty, and then that's when they would decrack because they were trying to follow the grunge trend,
yeah,
which they
well,
partially helped create, but they sure sucked at it.
yeah, I agree. There was a bunch of bands that didn't quite make it that ended up actually being pretty good. There's one that's called Lucy's Fur Coat. They sound like a lot like Stone Temple Pilots. I think kind of Stone Temple Pilots managed to, jump on the pop train or whatever of grunge. And Lucy's Fur Coat was like really their predecessor, and Scott Weiland used to actually like go to their shows all the time and sort of stole their sound a bit. in my opinion, but they do this. There's a song called Treasure Hands, and I mean, if you listen to the vocal style, like it sounds a lot like Scott Weiland, and it's a shame that they never really made it big.
Yeah, the Stooges and Modern Lovers, one of the most underrated bands. They because they recorded in 1971, 72, but the album didn't come out until 76. But they're one of the best. Like they're they invented alternative music and all that other stuff way before all the other bands, but it just wasn't published. So, but nobody knew about it. But they were really, really ahead of their time.
My mom's calling. I'll be right back.
Okay, I might go ahead and wrap up. I've been going for a while. Um, yeah, Jonathan Richman, and the drummer went on to become the drummer for the Cars, and the keyboardist guy was Jerry Harrison, who went on to become a member of the Talking Heads. And he drew on Velvet Underground and Lou Reed, and John Cale even produced some of the tracks for their first album, just like he produced the Stooges' first album. So all of that is descended from Andy Warhol, Velvet Underground, that little scene, and then Max's Kansas City. They were all hanging out, and they all you could draw direct lines between the people. They produced each other's albums. They were helping to develop the new bands. They played on each other, all that stuff, and that was the milieu that the later punk scene developed from. And it all happened in New York City. It was an urban New York City scene. Television is one of my favorite bands. At least that first album with Marquee Moon. That guitar solo in Marquee Moon is one of my favorite solos ever. And they have some old footage on YouTube of Television with Richard Hell in it, practicing some of their demos. It's just amazing to watch. Yeah, Lou Reed is at the center of all of that shit. And so it goes from there all the way to No Wave at the end of the punk era, and then Glenn Branca and bands like Sonic Youth, Swans. Madonna was even in a no wave band with some of the people that were in the Circus Mort was the band that Michael Gira had before Swans, and with Dan and Josh Braun, and Madonna was in a band with them for a little while. So it's all that New York scene is all connected, all the way back from the Andy Warhol, Velvet Underground days to the early '80s. They got it from this book on S&M, BDSM. Lou Reed, if you should read his biography on Wikipedia, it's he mental illness, drugs, BDSM, sexuality, all that stuff. Like he is the prototype for most of the little Gen X kids like me. And it was a book. It was a book on a modern sadomasochism, which they wrote a lot. They wrote about in their lyrics too. Yeah. Oh, I love the is it Sweet Jane? I love the Sweet Jane version from that. And that's not even him playing the guitar. I forgot who's actually playing the guitar. But that's another one of my favorite solos. And then in England around the same time you had the glam scene happening, and David Bowie was kind of the crossover here in the U.S. to that, and influenced Iggy and Lou a little bit. But to me, their glam period is them at their weakest. It's also Bowie at his weakest. But David Bowie used to hang out at Max's too, along with those people. So there's connections between what was going on in New York and what was happening in England too. and what later happened in England with punk. And then in the 80s, it became, indie and the DIY ethos. And then kids from all of that next generation of kids, which would have been my generation, they were like my older contemporaries. Um, they started doing it themselves from all over. And you got kids out of Minneapolis, DC, Philly, Ohio, all over California, just everywhere. But you still needed they were still mostly around urban areas because you still needed that network that they were kind of urban subcultures. And then I would say in the 90s, with the advance of technology and stuff, you had more kids. Yeah, Minor Threat, Ian MacKaye. You had more. There's a documentary called Salad Days on the DC hardcore scene that I just watched. It was pretty good. Um, that's when you got more like independent suburban kids that weren't really connected to any urban scene at all. Started to put out stuff. The indie rock, indie pop. It's really nice. It's one of my favorite versions. In fact, I might go listen to it today. Yeah. All right, well, I think I'm going to wrap up because that was a pretty fun day. We got to play games, talk about music. Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah. Chuck Berry and Little Richard created rock and roll. We are all their children. That 100% came from them. Yeah, I watched American Hardcore. It is a good one, and the Penelope Spheris movie, The Decline of Western Civilization, and I think that one's free on YouTube. I also think American Hardcore is free on YouTube. Yeah, all of those, all four of those, Salad Days, American Hardcore, Decline of Western Civilization, and that Max's Kansas City movie are excellent documents of that time period. And then there's another one I watched from British on the what are they called, the Blitz kids, like late 70s, about 80. Um, and they were kind of the early club kids. And Spandau Ballet was kind of the house band that developed from them. Boy George was part of it, Steve Strange, that crowd. So it was kind of the British punk, new wave, new romantics. And a lot of the British scene developed around it was Sex. There was the sex shop, McLaren and Westwood sex shop, but it was called something else during the punk era. Let me look it up. What, not laws? Seditionaries. So for most of the scene that punk and post-punk was popular, it was called seditionaries, but um, that kind of centered the UK London scene. And you had the Manchester scene too. Yeah, I like Jimmy. Particularly that first album. He definitely took the electric guitar, the instrument, to heights that I don't think anybody else after him will ever reach. Because all that shit started in the 60s. Like 1966, 67. And then it shifted over into more like a pure rock or roots rock style in 68, 69, 70s. And then glam sprung up from there. And then eventually punk, etc., etc. And there's a YouTuber, Zarathustra Serpent. Let me find it. He has entire series which are excellent, because he's a philosopher. So he approaches it from like all of the philosophical background behind it. But he has a series on the 60s music and on glam rock, and he started one on punk too. So if you want a real deep dive into not only the music itself, but the culture, the philosophy behind it, um, this is your guy. Yeah, and that's also coincidentally the year that the Church of Satan was founded as well. So that's kind of the beginning of my generation for me. Before that, it was just rock and roll and weed and Dylan and the folk kind of stuff. You had the little bit of Kinks, little bit of Who, little bit of Stones, but '66 is when it really kicked off, and that's when the Velvet Underground recorded their first album. Although I think it came out a year later because it got delayed. And that's when Warhol started doing his expanding plastic inevitable thing. All right, I'm gonna call it a night. It was great hanging out with you guys, and we could do it again tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm supposed to go. I have some things to do out in public. But it's in the morning, but depending on how late that goes, I'm going to try to stop at, I think I'm going to do KFC tomorrow instead of McDonald's. But I might do a stream from the streets tomorrow. But either way, I should be back for the normal time, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Central. So I'll either continue with the Myth series, or I will take a day off from that and pick that back up on Wednesday, depending on how the morning goes. So look for me at some point tomorrow. And we can hang out and do it again. And anyone in the Discord, you're welcome to use the movie channel and watch the documentaries or share it with other people. We love Gen X culture around here. Okay, speaking of, let me play us out. Wow, Deep Purple is still touring. There you go. There's some StreamYard rock for you. Oh, Dirty, how do I get it to you? Here, find me on Discord. There's my Discord name. If you're on Discord, message me and I will send you the invitation. Because I don't like to post it publicly just to kind of filter out a lot of the trolls. We're doing pretty good so far with keeping it very low drama. So just hit me up on Discord. Anybody else that needs it, just hit me up on Discord. That's the best way. All right, take care, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow, possibly from Kentucky Fried Chicken. All right, take care. Keep the fires burning. That rock and roll spirit, that Gen X flame. All right, take care.